Session 3 of In Soviet Russia, the day one scenario set in the Torg Eternity universe in the region of the world that has been invaded by the cosm of Tharkold. So our protagonists in this one are a crack trained special services or Spetsnaz squad of Russian troops who have been tasked with making their way into the contested areas of the city of Moscow, a region that has been heavily bombarded in the initial attacks, and as a result of which is mostly deserted. Their task, with a time limit, is to recover data from a secret lab at a position that they, literally at the end of the last game, they had just found. They need to get the information out of the lab and return to their rendezvous point at sundown. The rendezvous point is a monastery, Trinity Lavra of St. Sergius, which has been converted to a military forward base, which is about 30 to 40 kilometers north of the laboratory position. So they were provided with materials and transport, a gas tiger, which I think other people have already had the image of, which has brought them here. There were some issues with refugees trying to leave the city, which were moved around. You prevented a group of invading, let's say, ground troops from blowing up a Russian monument. Why it had tactical purpose, your characters aren't entirely sure, but that may become clearer as other things continue in the game. You made your way further into Moscow itself, witnessing the Maelstrom Bridge, which is the vehicle by which the invaders are traveling into our reality. The massive bulk of this thing, looking almost like a kilometer wide itself, cutting down out of the sky and to where the Kremlin would have been. Seeing things that you couldn't describe flying off it, crawling on it, moving around it, and also seeing tendrils coming off of it and arcing across the sky to land further afield. You found your way to the location that the base or the science base is, met up with some refugees. There was Vasily and his mother, Olga. There was the old woman, Zoya, who gave a couple of you a little bit of a telling off, but not much. And there's Gennady, who's a young wounded soldier who was left behind by his troops. The item of note was that Vasily had some kind of metallic mosquito-like drone, big, like 2-3 feet long, wrapped around his head. And the doctor, Stitches, the medical individual in your group, was able to do some pretty spectacular field surgery and successfully removed the parasite from the young boy without doing any additional damage. And Stitches, you're well aware how difficult that was, because you know that one wrong move and the main carotid artery in the boy's neck would have been lacerated by the thing as you removed it.
I am pretty brilliant, though.
You were very good at that, and the story of that is already being whispered and murmured among the group of there's about 12 refugees. I've only mentioned the ones that are notable. You'd posted a lookout in the form of Deadeye, your sniper, and soon after you'd started looking around for where the lab was, and you'd found it via an underground grating. It's in the basement of one of the buildings rather than being accessible on the ground floor. But before you were able to go in, the region came under attack by a rather large group of what we're calling ghouls, which are essentially, they look like corpses that have had their jaws removed, and they have no visible eyes in their eye sockets either. But what they did have was a sort of a metallic tentacular tongue coming out from where their jaws would be. And 2 groups of these attacked your area, accompanied by some more of the drones of the same kind that had latched onto Vasily's head. Yet, using your training and your equipment and superior tactics, you managed to take them down. Finding out some secrets, like maybe the tentacles aren't actually part of the same creature, because at least one of them you saw that when the head came off, the tentacle detached and disappeared under a nearby car. So with that, you made sure the refugees were relatively safe, and then went down to the lab underneath. You were particularly cautious, especially because almost the instant you opened the door into the upper level of the complex, you could tell the lights were off, but in your flashlights you were seeing chains hanging down from the ceiling. Chains, some of which were shown to be brown, not with rust, but with dried blood. Prowler went forward, tested things cautiously, went onto the landing where the chains were seen, and then saw that there was a metallic staircase leading down. Followed the staircase down again very cautiously. I believe a number of you were following in his exact steps, sticking with your backs to the walls at each point, and just going by the numbers down to the next landing, checking ahead, next landing, checking ahead, until you got to the ground level. And near the base of the winding stairwell, the closest item in the room, and it's quite a large vaulted room, the closest item was a metal operating table, standing quite near the base of the stairs that you're coming off of. It drips with blood, and a skinless corpse is chained to the operating table, lidless eyes staring up at the ceiling in horror, and your own eye line follows the eyesight up, and you can see suspended in the chains above is a second corpse, staring back down into the eyes of the one on the table. Towards the back of the room, there is a faint glow as equipment still hums, screens showing unintelligible graphs and reams of paper with streams of numbers roll out of the printers continually. And in that same far corner of the room is an individual slumped, wearing a lab coat. Even at this distance, you can tell it's spattered in blood. And that is exactly where we left it last time, with that macabre scene. Prowler, as he was the one ahead, relays back to you, and immediately, as Oversight says, continue into the room, he swears something, the Russian equivalent of bugger that, and stays exactly where he is, and he's waiting for somebody else to move ahead. He's obviously had enough of strange and weird for the time being.
I'll look to drivetrain, nod him forward.
I'm the driver, not the leader.
We haven't got a car at the moment, so.
You want me to drive you in?
So obviously we're establishing the hierarchy of command. So it's Oversight, followed by Stitches, followed by Prowler, followed by Salvo, followed by Deadeye, followed by the youngest, which is Drivetrain.
All right, in you go then.
I am the lowest. Right, I will use whatever one of my skills it is that makes me.
Oversight activates his throat mic and says, "Yeah, Drivetrain. Check out the survivor at the back of the room."
I've actually forgotten what all these things mean, by the way. Adaptable, Prodigy, Realm
Prodigy
Runner,
means you get one extra possibility when your possibilities refresh. Realm Runner means you can ignore, I think, up to 4 points of reality penalties when you try to disconnect, and you can ignore your first disconnect. And Adaptable, I think, if you use equipment that is okay by the cosm, the reality you're in, but is not okay by you, you don't risk disconnection to deal with. So as long as the native reality accepts it, you're fine. You won't disconnect on one case.
Got these in your library yet?
No, not yet.
Oh.
I'm waiting until I get the books.
Okay.
And Stitches, check out the bodies.
Nod. We'll check out the bodies and do a once-over medical thing on them.
Let's do a look around. What's a look around? I don't have a look around. No find in this character. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I've got a find.
So, yep, you're doing fine. Doctor, can you do an evidence analysis?
Dice 20. Yeah.
So stitches, that's a bonus of 5 onto your evidence analysis skill.
Of 1, so
I got it.
Plus the appropriate stat, which I think
So
evidence
11.
analysis is going to be mined.
So 16.
Okay. Yours will take a little bit longer. So drivetrain with your 8. You don't see much as you make your way across the room to the far corner, where at your approach the figure, its face like darts upwards, looking at you. He's got wide but seemingly vacant eyes, unshaven. It's probably about 3 or 4 days growth on his face. When he raises his head, his name badge is unobscured on his chest, and you can see on the ID badge is a picture of a much better presented version of the man who is crouched in the corner before you, with the name Smirnov emblazoned beneath the photo.
Vodka people? Smirnoff?
Yeah, the same spelling.
Okay.
He's looking at you with the demeanor and the appearance of a frightened animal.
But he's dead, though.
No,
Oh,
his head's twitched up to look at you. He's breathing. His breathing does seem to be quite ragged. You came. You came. That is good.
Can I examine him, or am I busy?
So while that's happening, you are examining the bodies, well, one of the bodies, the second one. I'm assuming you're looking at the one on the operating table, not the one that's 5 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Above the table. Well, you can tell there's, what did you get as the total, sorry, in the end?
16.
16, that's a good success. This is a female. It isn't immediately obvious because of the damage that's been done to the body. So majority of the primary and secondary sexual attributes are unrecognizable. Height and assumed weight, you would say this is probably a match for Dr. Petrova, who's one of the 3 scientists stationed here, according to your mission pack information. As far as you can tell, her skin, which is entirely absent, was not cut off. There are no incisions or cut marks in the muscles or visible in any of the soft tissues.
Oh dear. Is it like dissolved off, or fell off?
You're thinking it was somehow dissolved, yes. But the other thing that is quite chilling for you is you're almost certain that the cause of death was blood loss, which indicates that she was still alive when her skin was removed.
Oh God. Sick bastards.
Indeed. The good doctor at the back of the room puts his hands down to his side and slowly, and what seems like quite a lot of effort, pushes himself up to stand. But he stood in front of you, drivetrain, still with a significant crouch, and he's looking you up and down with the same sort of like almost bird-like jerking of the head. And you're here, but that means they are going to do it? Would they? Sfarag protocol. No. Maybe they would. You need to stop it. He looks at you and says, you need to stop it. The 50 kilotons, that would do the job, but they wouldn't use less than 200.
Stop what exactly?
Sfarag, they have sent you. They've sent you to get me, and everything. And he turns, skitters over to where the paperwork is still churning out of a relatively old style dot matrix printer. The data is important.
Go up and have a look at what's been spewed out of this printer.
Give me an evidence analysis roll.
-1, 10.
You're looking and you cannot make head nor tail of what you're looking at. All you can really tell is, in addition to the stuff that's coming out now, you can see evidence. There's paper piled up and various bits and pieces of data stretching back maybe 2 weeks, 3-4 weeks maybe.
Should do.
I'm just wondering, are there some sort of like otherworldly symbols or something on it?
On the paperwork, no.
Okay.
Just the data is, to your unscientific minds, it would seem unknowable. But as you're looking, it's all on there, says the doctor. It's all on there. Everything we could collect when the invaders' bridge came down. Everything.
So you were doing the experiment here?
Monitoring. No experimenting. Just monitoring. Me and the Patriots. Petrova and Volkov. And he salutes to the corpses on the other side of the room.
Yes. What happened to them?
Happened? To them?
Yes.
They were patriots. Give me a quick find check as he's talking. Oh, well done, Salvo. Salvo's obviously a people watcher. Don't forget, you only reroll on a 20 if you have had in the find skill, which I presume you probably do.
Yeah.
There's a bonus number of what? 8? It's going to be good enough.
16. It's been 16. Yeah.
That's very good. While you're watching him, you do note that while he's talking about his colleagues, his right hand, almost absent-mindedly, is like stroking one of the pockets on his lab coat. So we have to move. You are here to rescue me and my colleagues? Strokes the pocket.
Well, we
No time.
will take the data, of course.
Prowler nods and then goes over, sits down in front of one of the main computers, and in your mission packs there were a series of pen drives, and he begins to basically download the data onto these drives. There's 4 of them.
I'll assist him.
I will sort of go over to I'm guessing what was it, oversight, and sort of say that this is very strange situation. Are we sure this man is safe? I mean,
Oversight looks up at you and says, I have no idea.
Should we perhaps restrain him?
It would seem advisable. I'm more worried about the fact he was babbling about kilotons.
Yes, that is usual. Not many things are measured in kilotons.
I can only think of one thing.
So, shall we
cut down the other 2?
Has anyone got like restraints or something on them?
You will probably have restraints of some kind. There's no reason why you shouldn't have that sort of thing somewhere in your kit.
Which one was Gaz's character? Prowler?
Prowler, yes. He's now sat at the computer, tapping away at the keys. You've got the very Hollywood-esque and completely unrealistic. If you're looking at him, you can see the screen projected onto his otherwise black cowled face.
Cool.
Prowler, so he's probably got his bondage stuff with him.
I think we should take off and nuke the site from orbit.
Yes, I think the plan is, Mr. Kilotons.
Well, actually, I'll concentrate on getting the data. That's our primary objective, isn't it, I think?
Okay, can you give me an evidence analysis, Scallon, while Stitches is doing that?
That gives me a 13.
13, very good. You managed to get two things of note. The first thing that you realise when the data's scrolling past on the screen, it would seem that this lab was indeed set up about 6 weeks ago with the express purpose of monitoring for extra-dimensional incursions. None of the data, however, shows anything of any real note until approximately 20 hours ago, when the Maelstrom Bridge burst out of the sky and crushed the Kremlin.
It's like a Russian SETI centre, basically, is it?
Yes, but there's too much here that speaks specifically of, it would seem they expected this event to happen.
I see. So they weren't looking anywhere, they were looking for something specific, I see.
Specifically here. Somehow, the people that set up this lab, as far as you're concerned at this moment in time, the government, knew this was going to happen. The second thing you note, and this correlates with something that Smirnov babbled earlier, you do see a reference to the Svarog Protocol. And the Svarog Protocol speaks of a nuclear strike against Moscow itself within 24 hours of a otherwise unwinnable invasion scenario.
I believe I said something about have to start throwing nukes around yet, and they're not quite. Okay, well, it's at the moment the infection's contained to Moscow, is it, mostly?
All you know from the military you've got is that the government have effectively decided that Moscow is lost.
Yeah. Well, I think fighting these things is really difficult. I mean, I'm happy with nuking Moscow if we can help us contain it.
The thing that worries you, though, is the within 24 hours.
Yeah, because we're past that time now, are we? How long's it been now?
You're currently pushing 23.
Ah, okay. Well, we better get going quick, get the data, and get out of here.
Is there any possibility I can science this whole thing up? Whatever's going on here?
You can give it a try, get some more information. And Salvo, you were going to restrain the doctor.
Well, I presume first I would say like something like, Doctor, you are not making sense. You have not explained anything to us about what is going on here.
That is because you would not understand. I could say to you, Maelstrom Bridge, what would you do? What would you say? Nothing. I would say that Lord Cranod will eat your soul. What would you say to that? Nothing. You would not understand the words that were coming out of me.
Yes,
and then he suddenly looks a bit sheepish at what he just said, and then begins to giggle and laugh nervously.
The man has obviously lost his mind.
Yes.
You look away from him briefly. He points towards the chains. You look away from him briefly, and then turn back, and he's looking at you now with the skin face of one of the other scientists draped over his own face and staring at you. Perhaps now Gorgobus cannot see me. And his eyes like dart around the room where he stands motionless with
Did you...
Dr. Volkov's. It's a male face, so you think it's Dr. Volkov.
This man is clearly, well, most likely dangerous. I'm sorry, doctor, but we will have to restrain you.
What does that mean?
That means we will have to tie your arms behind your back and... Yes.
What does that mean?
I will show you. Right. I'm probably gonna have to make some sort of unarmed combat check, maybe.
Yeah, sure. You're trained, so you wouldn't just be grabbing the guy. You'll be doing some kind of Krav Maga, special forces, unarmed combat, like grabbing his thumb, twisting it the wrong way, and you've got full control over every movement on him.
12. That was my 0. And unarmed. That's 9.
Well, his dodge is only a 7, so you are basically you grab one of his hands and do exactly that. You do the twisting of the thumb and around the wrist, and essentially from that tiny bit of leverage, you've got him like in a full arm lock. He doesn't scream. He's whimpering more than screaming, sort of a low mewling whimper. Stitches.
Uh-huh.
You can hear something metallic moving on the ceiling above you.
We don't have time for this. How quick are we getting through collecting the data?
You've got 2 more to get through. It's going to take about at least 10 more minutes to transfer.
Drivetrain, keep an eye on the ceiling, and I'll, try and hurry to...
up, and you can see that ceiling's quite high, and you can see as your whatever you've got flashlight wise looks up, you can see that the chains are hanging across the whole ceiling, and just the ones just above you, maybe midway between you and where Salvo currently has the good doctor in an arm lock, they are quivering, but slightly, and the noise you're hearing is when their links are quivering against themselves.
Is there anything these chains are linked to? Like you say, are they just linked into the ceiling?
They appear to be. I mean, the ceiling's quite dark. If you do shine a torch all the way up, you can see they appear to be coming out of the ceiling. Okay. You can't see that they're not sort of welded onto a sort of a metal plate that's then bolted into the ceiling. They have just come out.
I was thinking like an octopus type thing, but no.
No, there's nothing. There doesn't seem to be a sort of a central body that they're connected to.
Okay. Can I shoot one of those cables then?
You can do if you want to.
Yeah, I think it's necessary. Fire combat, isn't it?
Yep. You firing single shot or salvo or?
Well, I want to hit it, so it'll be single shot.
Okay. You line up your shot. Are you aiming for the bottom, the middle, or the top of the? Say again. Top. What damage does your gun do? The one you're using?
But wait a minute. Give me a second. Find all the button. Gear. What's the rifle called? Does 14 damage.
Okay, roll me a bonus dice onto that then.
I haven't even rolled the hit. I rolled the hit, but I haven't done all the other dice rolls yet because you had me looking up stuff. Wait a minute. 15. That's 2. 3. 11. It's probably too low to hit it, is it?
No, give me a bonus die damage.
2.
That's a 16. Okay. The probably relatively high caliber round in the assault rifle. You fire it. There's a metallic sort of breaking sound, and about an 8-foot length of quite sinister looking heavy steel chain drops down onto the floor in front of you.
Is it bleeding?
Doesn't appear to be.
Yeah.
The Dr. Smirnov shrieks at the noise, and Salvo, are you doing anything particular to try and restrain him beyond what you've already done? Are you like gonna tie his hands or anything?
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
Okay, give me an unarmed combat test to do that, because as you're doing it, the doctor's. Oh, well done. Roll again and add.
Yay.
Because you do manage to restrain him. You've got the whatever cuffs they're using are on him. But as you're doing so, his face does turn towards you. The skin mask sloughs off and hits the ground. And you can see there is a malevolent look in his eye. And I'm just going to, because I rolled an 18, that's 5. Successful test. He seems to just gibber something. Almost chant-like, and not from the ceiling, but from the floor and the wall nearby. 5 or 6 lengths of chain just zoom out of the wall and strike you. What is your dodge, please?
Dodge is 9.
And he got a 17, so that's 1 bonus die of damage. Okay. They don't appear to do any significant damage to you, because your toughness is quite high, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, so you only take 3 result points of damage. That's only 2 shock, but you still do take it. And the doctor just seems to, he has an angry sneer in your direction.
What was...
You made me drop my mask.
Do we really need this guy alive? I mean awake. I meant awake. Yeah, awake is what I meant.
Oversight says, well, the mission parameters were to retrieve the data. They said if we could retrieve the scientists to do so.
I think
there's only one of them left. He's restrained now. Let's get out of here as quickly as we can.
Can we knock him out?
Be my guest.
It's hard to get him to move, I guess, but...
I think we should knock him out. I'll try and knock him out, because I'm brilliant at my dice rolls today, guys. I will do it. We'll see.
Knock him out, fireman's lifting.
Butt of my rifle. 14, which is 1. Unarmed combat, 2. That's 10. I think I'll use a possibility, because 10 will do it. Yes, I really want to do it.
It's at least 10, so it's a 24.
Oh, that's a 24, right? That's 8. 8, 9. 9 plus 16, 17.
Yep, you certainly hit him. That's an outstanding success. So roll 2 bonus die of essentially non-lethal damage. So your damage total, it's going to be strength plus 2 for the butt of a rifle.
That's 16 total now.
16 on his toughness, that's 10 result points, that's 2 wounds and 4 shock. You don't do any wounds, but we're going to increase it by 2. 1 shock for each of the wounds we're getting rid of, so that's 6 shock. What basically happens is you line up, and as you bring your rifle down and crack the Dr. One across the chin, he was halfway through gibbering again, and chains leap out of the wall towards you. Get about halfway, your rifle butt connects with the doctor and knock him out, and then the chains collapse to the floor.
I feel vindicated.
You should do.
What does he control chains? No, how is that possible? What?
It's scientists. We are not here to work out what scientists do. We're to drag them back and this data, and they can work it out.
Oversight bends over, picks up the discarded skin mask, holds it up to his face and looks at it and looks like I don't think this is science. And then drops the mask over on the body.
Oh, you seem to know everything.
Come on, people, we don't have time. Let's get this going.
Okay.
Right.
You've now got an English accent.
I'm just trying to differentiate Oversight from
Yeah.
Smirnoff, that's all.
He needs a Yorkshire accent, really.
No, Kerry doesn't have a Yorkshire accent.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, he doesn't. No, he's very English, isn't he?
Yeah, and Prowler's not talking.
Okay. Well, so I've got all the data yet.
It's going to be another couple of minutes. But taut, tense seconds pass.
I'll put a gag in your guy's mouth anyway, because I think he verbally says this stuff, you know.
And you're sitting there watching Stitches at the progress bar.
Come on.
Waiting any second to be consumed by nuclear fire.
92% is
92%, 94%,
And then it hangs.
6%, 95%,
Yeah.
94%.
Storage device is not big enough to store this data.
Corrupted.
Drive incompatible. And it finally, cling, Prowler takes the last of the 4 pen drives out, puts them away in a secure spot. Actually, he hands them to Oversight, who's the mission commander. Right then, people, let's get out of here, says Oversight. And you head back up to the surface.
It's probably the muscular guy.
No, Prowler's the sneaky one.
Who's the muscle guy?
That's Salvo. That's Badger.
Salvo, lift that body. Let's go.
Right. Carry him over one shoulder.
Yeah, you don't have a problem with that. We pass on to scene 3. I'm telling you now, this is a dramatic scene. You emerge from the lab and you note that there are a couple of the refugees have ventured out of their hiding place. But more importantly, you spot there are a good few more people here than they were before. And a couple of the newcomers that you're seeing, you recognize the uniforms. They appear to be dressed similarly to the individuals you saw and fought back at the statue. The difference is, whereas those ones had that thick collar on that you saw before, none of these individuals you're seeing have those collars around their necks. Once they see you coming up out of the basement, though, they quickly raise their hands, and a number of them make universal like peace signs, holding their hands up. And a couple of them start talking, but you don't understand the language they're speaking.
What does the language sound like? Does it sound completely alien, or?
It doesn't sound like Russian, certainly. You've probably heard things like English. Doesn't sound English. Doesn't have the cadence or melodies of any of the Latin languages, French, Italian, or stuff like that. It sounds quite a harsh guttural language. Maybe German is quite close, but it's not German. But maybe that's the closest. Seeing that you're not understanding them, one of them, a man in about these maybe mid to late 40s, whistles, sticks two fingers in his mouth and this piercing whistle, and a woman, still dressed like the rest of them, comes out. This woman, she's brunette, hair tied back, kept short but still tied back nonetheless. She's probably in her early 20s. It's difficult to tell. There are deep-seated bags under her eyes, and her eyes have a sad look. And as she approaches, you can see a deep, thick scar running the circumference of her neck. I hope we can talk in peace. I am Kyodai. I am only one of group who speaks your language. She is talking to you in accented Russian. I hope that we can work together. I do not wish us to die separately.
How do you propose we work together?
We can help you if you can help us. We came from, and she points up to the Maelstrom Bridge, but our, what word do you use? Collars? They malfunction when we go near your red square.
I see, so you've escaped.
Yes. Your red square is a tough, firm, hard, is a hard point. Do you know what this means?
It is a very famous area, the strength of our people.
The strength of people. That is correct. At hard point, your reality is not beaten back by invading reality. My technology does not work there. The collars stopped working. We were able to remove them. We wish to remain free. We wish to help.
Well, looks like we can take all the help we can get.
Wait. Why should we trust you?
There is no reason you should trust us.
We met people like you earlier. They, well,
members of the race. We have been slaves of the demons for generations. Some, and she spits, thrive in the vicious conditions on Tharkold, but many more, like us, wish to win freedom. She sees your looks of confusion at some of the words. Tharkold, it is what we call where we come from, a different realm known as Tharkold. The demons have been ruling there for centuries.
Is there any demon there called Lucifer?
That name is not known to me. The one who rules is Cranod, and she spits again.
I guess things they say about West is even worse than they say.
Some of the best help you could give us is perhaps through intelligence. Would you come with us?
We will do everything we can. We need to get away from here before our former master, Gogobus, she spits again, finds us. He is especially abusive. He has never got very high in their leadership, and whenever he suffers setbacks, she gestures to a couple of people. You can see like clear rents in their clothing where they've obviously been whipped or something's been done to them. He takes it out on his thralls.
His what?
Thralls. Another word, slaves, is not exactly correct. I do not think is not accurate translation. There is in our world, you are either a dominant or a thrall. It is the way of things. It is quite strange. I had ideas come through my head when we were in your red square. It it made me remember things like freedom, which I could not remember before.
Then we must leave before he catches up with us.
You have vehicle?
Yes. We didn't break it, did we? Still about somewhere?
No, the tiger's still there. You realise that you've got yourselves. You have 12 original refugees, and there are about the same number of these escaped Tharkold slaves here as well.
I've got an idea. Have you any rope? We tie everyone to the outside of the thing. That way, any damage will not hurt the vehicle. It's a good plan. Seen it in a film.
You can put about 8 people, including yourselves, in the tiger transport.
How many can we tie to it on the outside?
Or even sit on it or whatever.
You've got Kyodai as her name. I'm not sure if she actually introduced herself or can remember it. She points towards their vehicle, and you see they've stolen a truck, and that can carry up to 12. They also have, you can see a couple of her people on the back of Yamaha motorcycles. If you remember, you are a car park, essentially, and you didn't blow up all of the cars. So
Right.
you might be able to rustle up something appropriate with a swift couple of minutes searching.
Well, we don't
Looks-
really need to rescue the people, as
Look-
I whisper.
It looks.
All we need to do is get the plans and the thing to the exit point, and maybe just drag one of these people over.
The information and assistance, I think, will be invaluable. I think we could make a convoy here, and you could spearhead it, drivetrain.
Yeah, but our exit point doesn't allow for other people, does it? It doesn't normally.
What do you say, Oversight?
He looks around. I get the impression that she probably won't cooperate if we leave people behind.
We need her.
People newly awakened to freedom tend to have,
Balls.
I was going to say, strong feelings about liberty and fair play.
Yeah.
He looks around and this isn't my area of expertise. Drivetrain. There look to be a couple of larger vehicles over there. Can you start it? He's pointing off in a direction in the car park. You look, Drivetrain. You can't see anything big vehicle-wise over there, but you might be able to find one in short order.
Right. I see.
Does the doctor still seem to be unconscious?
He is currently entirely torpid, lying over your shoulder.
Right. Well, I turn to the woman, and I say, we were on a mission to rescue scientists, and we found very strange scene.
As you're talking, she's looking at you strangely, like inquisitive, looking you up and down. Not necessarily just looking at your face. She's looking down. Her eyes linger on a portion of your arm and that sort of thing. But she's still listening.
Well, I do not know how to describe scene, but there is perhaps The Stitches. You probably smarter than I am. Explain.
I
Someone
don't know what your train of thought is.
Well, I think maybe the Dr. Smirnov was not making much sense. Maybe woman can help us. Maybe she knows something that.
I think he's asking, how does the woman know how this man made chains come out of the walls?
Demon
Yes.
sorcery. We have seen it before.
But
Demon sorcery. Right.
Do not underestimate them. Even
Are you saying he's a demon?
no, but even the lesser ones can give gifts to those who serve them. He is obviously weak-willed if he capitulated so quickly. Not like him. She points at Salvo. He has accepted our ways, but he's not submissive to anyone.
I have flex muscles and grin.
Except his wife.
What is wife?
I think we spend too much time here. We should get the vehicles and get moving as soon as possible.
Oh, I still had more ammunition against these guys. Okay, I'll go over and have a look at some vehicles. Can anyone drive?
Oversight can drive.
No. The people, not us.
None of the refugees can.
What? Where are they from?
Well, the one who could drive is the injured young soldier who has been blinded and his legs have been scraped. You've then got Olga, the pensioner, the unconscious Vasily, and about another 8 wounded, generally frail individuals.
Okay, what about the weirdos? Can they drive?
I can't drive.
A number of them can drive.
Right, drive. We'll put these people in a vehicle. Can you drive them?
He says, "Where are we going?"
Follow us.
Yeah.
Oversight says, "Don't worry, I'll drive."
How are you driving for? You want to stay with us?
I'll drive.
It'll be fine. Good man.
I suspect that Oversight has got like some sort of backup plan, and we're not involved that he's going to dump us.
No.
No.
Or make hang on, he'll have to make a persuasion check first of all.
Oh.
Yeah, give a. Going to be charisma based. Give me an appropriate skill to see if you can work out if he's lying or not.
Streetwise, it's charisma based.
Your difficulties in this instant are. You got an 18 currently.
I'm going to use possibility.
Yeah, so will he.
Something weird going on here.
He'll use a possibility as well.
Hey, that's even better. 30 something.
So he's now on a 32.
Plus 10.
He also gets a plus 10.
18.
And he's now on a 20.
I hit him.
Nope. He's giving orders. He's volunteered to drive. You know, he's a good driver.
So that's not what I didn't. Well, okay. You know what I meant. Okay. Huh.
You do not suspect any foul play. In fact, you feel a little bit. Oh no, he gave me the commands. That he's the guy in charge. He's giving me the orders for it. That's what's happening.
Okay, so who's the person knows the route? Do I know the route?
Yep.
Okay, then I get in my vehicle and
You will be leading. Oversight will be driving the refugee vehicle, and the race warriors you have with you will be driving their vehicles.
God, when you say race warriors and then you talk about vehicles, I just think like orcs and red stuff. craziness. But not Mad Max, that's it.
Right. As far as you're aware, you have, according to intelligence, an undetermined amount of time, possibly up to and including an hour, but you're not entirely sure, before a nuclear device will go off in the center of Moscow.
I will do what you just said, and I will put my pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal.
He's a dainty driver. Feel safe now.
Yeah. So first off, can you give me just a land vehicles check to make your way out?
One plus land vehicle is 13.
And Oversight's land vehicles is a 10. So that's fine with that one. Yeah, you managed to. The first bit is just making your way out of this particular area, which is quite a bit more blasted, and you're trying to get your way through some narrow side streets to get yourself back onto large area roadway. And as you pull onto the large area roadway, you see there's a couple of cars crashed on the road up ahead. So you decide to just gun it, because you know the car can do it. And you manage to just push both sets of cars aside, leaving an open path for the small convoy of vehicles behind you. However, it would seem that the noise attracts a little bit of undue attention, as you note, you can see out the corner of your vision drivetrain, as the road climbs onto sort of one of the sort of larger overpass type affairs, you see a couple of metallic shapes rise up over the wall on each side, and it would appear you've attracted the attention of, at the moment, at least a couple of those drones you were encountering before.
Okay, can I press the button that says stealth?
Not in a car, you can't, if you haven't got that particular car. Okay, guys, if you hadn't guessed already, your route out of Moscow is going to be a chase.
Does this mean you get to use the gun?
You might want to use the gun. It's up to you if you're bringing guns or anything like that into bear.
No, I mean the gun on the
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The big gun on top of the Tiger. Now, the way a chase scene works, it's in a dramatic scene as it is anyway. We draw a drama card, and again, as with dramatic skill resolution before, it's the ABC, or what would be a D as well, side that determines what you can actually do in the chase.
Inspired.
No, because it's a dramatic scene, but you are going first. Any action is approved at this point, and you will be able to get cards and play cards as you go on. Second, we're in a dramatic skill resolution. You can't play cards immediately. You've got to play them to your hand first of all. Essentially, you will have completely gotten away once you manage to complete step D of the dramatic skill resolution. However, at any point, I'll be making rolls for the bad guys as well. They will be able to attack you at all points. You can attack them at all points. If the driver decides to do an attack, obviously that's going to be multi-action. But the further they are away from you, like they might start at step A and you start at step A, well, they're quite close. If you pull ahead, that's going to be at a -2 for being one step away. If you pull ahead again, they'll be at a -4 to do anything on you. And that's how the progression of the chase will work.
Now, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got the card alert to this, which stops you from being ambushed, does that cancel out this whole thing?
Nope.
Damn.
Could anything?
No. Not at this point. Maybe in other ones, but this is demonstrating how the chase works. So
I was just wondering,
doing it really quickly.
I've never seen the alertness work in any other scenarios yet, and so I'm trying to work out how you can use it.
Now, the other thing to bear in mind is this is a dramatic resolution. If at the end of 5 rounds, these aren't 10-second combat rounds at this point, okay? It's an extended chase. So it's representing there'll be dramatic points in the chase when the action occurs. However, you have 5 turns of the cards to get as far out of central Moscow as you possibly can.
We got this.
Because on the 5th, at the end of the 5th turn, that's when the nuke drops. Okay? Now, there will be rolls for each individual vehicle. So while the Tiger might get far ahead, the whatever vehicle it is Oversight's driving may not get as far away as the others, as the refugee vehicles might not, and the slave vehicles might not, and the bad guys accordingly. However, that being said, in the initial round, there are, as far as you can see at the moment, there are 2 drones have just hove into sight over the edges of the roadway that you're currently driving on. You guys are getting initiative first. It is a dramatic scene.
Are we having to get A, B, C, D?
You've got to get A, B, C, and D done
Within 5 cards?
before, within 5 cards.
Right, okay.
And when we are talking a nuke, you might not be completely out of
Has
harm's
anyone
way
got
even
a
by that point.
card? Has anyone got the card that makes you play this card again? Because then we get A, B, and 2 goes.
Well, you'd have to get it into your pool first.
Stop saying stuff! That's making me go, no, it's not going to work.
But that might work because you've got to go this round to get it into your pool. Proved actions, you've started out with a good one. Proved actions are any at this moment in time. Anyone who's not driving can do whatever they want. Whoever is driving can still do whatever they want, but they will always have to make a land vehicle skill check.
How far away are these drones?
Shooting distance, let's say, we haven't got a map down, they're going to be relatively far, let's say just under 100 meters or so.
Okay, right. Because if we are expecting sort of more like actual, because we haven't got that much ammo left on the big gun, right?
You haven't, no.
So we should probably save that for maybe, I don't know.
I'm driving.
You don't know your difficulty yet.
I need to know my difficulty.
Well, yeah, maybe.
My one doesn't really affect any of you guys.
Oh,
if I drive.
just one thing. Stack Skellen. As he is your wonderful medical marvel, where is Vasily?
He can be with us. Yes.
Okay, because you do know that you were successful in getting the things off him, but his wounds are still quite delicate. He could bleed out if setbacks occur, just letting you know.
Oh, I don't want him bleeding out. No, he's coming with me. I can't have him dying because it'd look bad on me.
Okay.
Plus, I don't want him dying.
Yeah. What's the speed of your Tiger?
You never give me that information.
You should have it in the gear.
Gear? Oh, I thought it was weapons only. Where is it in gear?
Gaz Tiger Transport.
Where?
I think.
Not my gear page.
It's on the generic gear. Hang on. I'll share it.
Okay, someone shared something to me. 140 kilo kph. What? I'm at 12 in brackets?
Okay. That's the speed. Now, the top speed are actually the bikes. Actually, no, they're not. They're a 12 as well. Where's the 13 then? I've got to find this. Somebody's got a 13 apparently. No. Oh, stupid thing. It says the fastest vehicles in the chase have a top speed value of 13. No, they don't. They've all got 12s. Right. Ah, I know why. The drones have a speed of 13.
That's no good.
Yes, right. So what happens in a chase is that becomes the difficulty number for gaining steps in the chase. Your vehicles are all fast. If you know, or they've all got the fast trait. So you get a +2 bonus for any of those tests anyway. But if you're trying to do stuff that isn't that, there's a maneuverability penalty on it, which is a -1. So they're fast, but they're not entirely maneuverable. So it's a +2 with a -1. You're getting an overall +1 on your land vehicles checks. So as the drones hove into view, and it is obvious and clear that they are heading in your direction, decide what you're doing. If you do the vehicle rolls first, then potentially you'll be further away from the drones, but still able to hit them, but you'll be getting minuses, or you could attack them first and then move further on.
How many sort of...
You can see 2 drones at the moment.
Now, how many rounds do I have? Like how many times can I fire the machine gun?
I think you've emptied 3 clips, because you emptied 1 clip in the first one, emptied the second one, and then reloaded and emptied a third one. So you've got 2 clips left. Well, actually 3, because it started out loaded, and you get 5 reloads. You've got 3 clips left.
And I can fire it twice before I have to reload?
You can fire it on like ridiculous automatic.
There's a nuclear bomb. I would not worry about the bullets after that.
I think he's more worried about having it if something bigger comes up later on. I can't remember exactly, but let's say you could probably you can fire it twice, as long as you don't try and fire it at lots of opponents. You can fire it twice.
Yeah. So I can fire it at how many? What,
problem is at the moment,
or...
problem with these guys, you won't be able to fire it at both of the drones because they're literally on opposite sides of the road. So like 180 degrees arc between the 2 of them.
Right. Well, okay, I'm going to target 1, I guess.
Okay, drone 1.
Yeah, with oh, that went bad. I'm going to spend a possibility.
Ooh, how are you firing the gun before we go much further?
Heavy burst,
which has a malfunction value of, I think it is a 4, but it's worth double checking. It should be on the gun as well, but it's the combat option of heavy burst that increases the malfunction in range. I think this is the only thing that this can only be fired on that, can't it?
Well, it actually just says full auto only, which doesn't.
Yeah, but it's a vehicle weapon, so that's where they get the vehicle weapon ones for heavy burst. It's only a malfunction range of 1 though, so you'll respect.
Yay! Well.
No, in that case, it's 50 rounds per target, and it's got 250 rounds. So if you're only firing at 1, it's 50 rounds. You can fire that clip 4 more times.
Right. Okay. And I've still got my 4 RPG.
You
rockets.
Do still have your RPG rockets as long as you've left them in the Tiger.
Yeah. Right. That puts me at 14. So.
I think just under 100 is well within range of the Tiger's gun.
Yeah, it's got 250, then 1K, then 4K.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. 12. Got 12.
12 hits the dodge. Oh,
wait,
no, actually.
Because I'm at plus. I'm at 6, is it? Because I'm doing heavy burst.
Yes.
Yeah. So 18.
Okay, I was about to say, because otherwise you would have missed. Because they have a dodge of 15. Remember, these guys are pretty darn maneuverable. You empty the appropriate amount of ammunition at it. The first few rounds of tracer ammo go wide as it begins to jink and jag out of the way. But you narrow your field of fire, and a good 5 or 6 hit it. What's your damage, please? You're not getting any bonus damage on this because you only got 3 over its dodge.
Damage is 19.
However, 19 damage on this quite ephemeral little metal drone. It only got a toughness of 6. It basically, the 3 bullets that do hit it just like and explodes into piecemeal. Stitches, what are you doing?
Do you know?
So-
I'm not sure.
It explodes as if it had something combustible inside of it. Oh,
If it did, it wouldn't. It goes into bits. It's not a
Okay.
huge, hoary, fiery death explosion, but it obviously had some kind of power cell in it that's just unloaded.
Okay, I'm going to lean out the window and I'm going to start aiming at one of the flappy things.
You can aim at the other one on your
Yeah.
side. Okay, not a problem. Okay, then we are going to be making drive rolls, please.
Okay, so I had rolled a 14 earlier.
You had rolled a 14 earlier.
So that's you haven't given me the target roll because you said
13s, because it's the speed of the fastest vehicle in the chase.
14. Wait a minute. Let me recalculate that. 14 gives me 1. I get a +1 from the special thing. That's 2.
Yeah,
And
because the
then
+2 for speed, -1 for
10,
maneuverability.
14. It is 14.
Okay, so you were successful. I mean, these instances, you only have successful. You don't have to worry necessarily
I
about.
get a card.
So the tiger. So you're. That's a step A. That's a step A. You're now at step B. You get a card. I need to get the actual card deck out. I hadn't opened it yet.
On, let me get lucky. I want to see if it breaks. None of us ever seen the real lucky.
Can you see that one or not?
Says
Is it
it's
outputted
really-
correctly into the chat? Brilliant. I just wanted to make sure you could see it.
yeah, I can see it.
Cool. Because with my having to remake the card deck, I wasn't sure if it was going to work 100%. Oversight is pushing his. Let's say he's going to be in a city bus. He is going to spend a possibility and gets a 19, which is a bonus number of 6, which gives him a 16, which is also enough for him to complete step A. Drone 1 is out of it at the moment. Drone 2, however, is attempting to zoom up after you and keep its distance. So it just uses straight dexterity.
That feels.
It is unable to. So you basically, as you're zooming down this highway, you are basically able to jink between vehicles. Probably covers a good sort of like mile of distance in this one round. And at one point, you take a sharp right turn when an off ramp comes up, because you know the landscape down has been cleared because it's an area you went through earlier on, and it's at a point where there's quite a big sort of like spaghetti of on ramps and off ramps. And the drone obviously has difficulty navigating through whatever's going on, and you manage to increase your lead as the convoy charges forwards. Second round, if I can find the right deck. Drama, not Destiny. Remember, anybody can play cards into their pool.
Which case?
Oh yeah. We should have all gotten one because it said any action was approved.
Yep, sorry, that's a good point. You should all get one. This will be
When suddenly.
exactly, and it always is appropriate narrative as well. Stitches, you get master plan. And Salvo, you get supporter. Okay. Villains go first, heroes go second. You can complete step B this round. The approved actions are defend and intimidate. Unfortunately, you suffer a setback. I'll tell you what that setback is in a minute, after the sound of motorcycles cuts through the air nearby as you see, still behind you, but slowly 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then more motorbikes just come bursting out of side streets and join the chase behind you. These are being driven, contrary to what your eyes are telling you, by corpses with no eyes and metallic tongues. It would seem that their lack of eyes does not impair the ghouls' ability to drive vehicles, and a number of them, as they're driving, have hand arms in one or other of their hands, and they do also start taking pot shots at your vehicles. There appear to be about 10 ghouls.
Good thing I've got all them cars behind me providing defense.
Indeed. But some of them may start getting knocked off. Just double checking something. Right. So they go first. So the first thing that happens is the ghouls will roll as a group to see if they can gain any ground on your convoy. And they may be able to gain ground even though you're woods, because they'll get an opportunity to shoot.
What speed are they?
The ghouls, actually I should be looking at the Yamahas. I think they've also got a... Where's my Yamaha gone? Got too many things open on my screen. Yeah, they're speed 12 as well, so they can catch. They don't have any maneuverability penalties because they're on motorbikes. So the ghouls as a group get a land vehicles skill check total of 9, plus 2 is 11, 16, 14. So they successfully move up to position B. The remaining drone doesn't catch up, so he stays slightly further back at position A. However, a couple of the ghouls do start firing at the convoy. Make 2 fire combat rolls. Okay, you hear the sound of gunfire. You don't hear any impacts on the Tiger itself. Badger salvo's out on the top, so he can get a much clearer view of what's going on. You see a couple of windows in the bus that Oversight's driving get smashed out, and towards the back of the convoy, you see one of your people, the race warriors on motorbikes, gets caught by a bullet to their back, and they spin off the front of their bike, and their bike spins and collapses and collides, hits something, and just the gas tank explodes in the way that they don't. Your guys goes. Now, the first thing you're going to have to do at this point is drivetrain. You're going to have to make an additional land vehicles test because of the setback. Because as you're pulling away, you notice there's an articulated lorry has jackknifed and has been abandoned, and it's blocking the entirety of the road up ahead. Now, your difficulties here are actually going to be 15. Are you doing maths?
Yeah, I'm at 12 at the minute. We're at 12 minus... Ah, God, you made me lose count. Wait a minute. I'll have 12, 15. Okay. I will use my action.
Mm-hmm.
Your action card, do you remember it?
And +3 to the total of any action.
Okay, that'll make me 15. Hi, action. 15 exactly. Because the -1 with the +1 cancel each other out. I've got 14, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I made a mistake somewhere. I've got 14 exactly, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 15. That's why it's 15. I needed to get up to 15.
So basically, this is your attempt to avoid any damage or to avoid a collision, essentially. What you basically do, you make an appropriate land vehicles roll. On a failure, the vehicle and everyone in it suffers some damage. On a standard roll, they suffer less damage. Good roll, they suffer less damage. On an outstanding roll, you manage to pull it out at the last second and you miss it in its entirety. Now, the difficulty was 15, so you didn't get enough to get a good. You got a standard success. So, with sort of a squeal of rubber on tarmac, you pull the Tiger around and you manage to skid, but it still crashes into the articulated lorry. But you're able to then gun it and start moving. However, the damage you take in a collision is the vehicle bonus.
140.
So, no, value, not the actual things. It's a 12. So the Tiger itself is subject to 13 points of damage. You compare its toughness to that. Its toughness is 20, with 4 points of that being armor. So the Tiger's fine. Vehicles don't necessarily take shock, so you wouldn't worry about that. However, the issue is that everyone in the vehicle also has to take damage.
Oh.
Now, who would be wearing a seatbelt?
Driver.
Most other people wouldn't be.
No, I'm hanging out the window.
So that's definitely no seatbelt wearing there.
Yeah, you're probably not wearing a seatbelt up on the turret, right?
I would assume you're not wearing a seatbelt up on the turret. You've probably got some kind of clippy thing to stop you from flying out, but that's not going to help much in a spamming yourself around collision. Just so you know, everyone in the vehicle suffers the same damage total. So luckily, I only rolled a 1. So that's a damage total of 13, which will apply to each of your toughnesses shortly. But it's -2 for those wearing seatbelts, or -4 if the vehicle has airbags or other advanced safety measures. It says collision damage is the top speed value of the vehicle +2 bonus dice. That's the standard one. Note that tough, slow-moving vehicles can plow through buildings, but there's always a risk if the bonus dice explode. So, I don't think anybody's had more than their toughness with that 13, have they? Because you all got armor.
Yeah.
And drivetrain, you're only taking an 11 anyway. So I think you're all in the -1 to -5 damage over toughness range, aren't you? Because you've mainly got toughness is 15, and some have got 16, I think. 12. So you're still fine because it's -1 to -5. So everybody takes just a single shock because you're a little bit bashed up. However, luckily you're not wearing the seatbelt stitches.
What's tactical armor give?
What does what give? Sorry.
Tactical armor. What armor thing?
I think it's +4 armor value.
All right, so I'm on 16 in total then. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it should be your toughness on the front shows you. I know 12 includes that. Because your toughness is your strength +4 for the tactical armor.
Oh. In which case I'm on the next rung up, am I?
Yeah, 13, just over. It's only 2 shock. So you took 2 shock, not 1.
Do you know that thing like with the weapon, with the vehicle? It suddenly vanished off my screen. Did you close it?
I didn't close it.
Where'd it go then?
It's an image. You can look for the image.
It wasn't an image. It was the thing with the stats. It had guns, and it had toughness, and it had speed. There it is, back again. It's weird.
I just reshared it just in case. However, Stitches, as you're recovering, and you and Salvo will get your non-drive actions in a minute as Drivetrain gets his drive action, you do hear a sort of sound of something not completely right in the back of the vehicle. You turn quickly and you see Olga holding Vasily down with one hand and cradling his head with her other, and she pulls her hand away and it is red.
Vasily, damn it! I'll give up on my aiming and go to his assistance.
Okay.
Is that a first aid roll?
That would definitely be, probably, it's up to you if you want to do medicine or first aid, but both will be appropriate.
I'm better at first aid. So...
I mean, the amount of
15.
bleeding is profuse at this moment in time. So you leap out of your seat into the back, and you spend the next few minutes just like up to your elbows in hot arterial blood. It's everywhere at this moment in time, because while you're doing this, the car's jumbling backwards and forwards. Your difficulty numbers would be 12, but that would be modified for the car moving. So you've got a 15 total, which was more than good enough.
Cool. Can I also play a card?
You can do. What are you going to play?
I'm going to give a quick inspiring speech to everyone. You know, we might die here today, but don't let your deaths be in vain.
And you're probably yelling out, "I'm not going to lose you."
Not going to lose you. Mother
Fine,
Russia.
yeah. Both Drivetrain and Salvo can take the effects of Inspire. I need to remind myself what Inspire does now. I think that's the one where we can do stuff.
Gives you a possibility, or a draw from the Destiny deck, or recover free shock.
Okay, guys, so what do you want to do?
Which one's the Destiny deck? Is that the one that says...
You get another card. It's the cards.
Okay.
Possibility.
I'll take the possibility.
Okay, mark the possibilities on.
I'm going to recover my shot back.
Okay.
Remember, you recover shock whenever you wound anyone.
Yes, don't forget that. The recover one shock when you deal one or more wounds, the law of pain as part of Tharkold. You are still in the Tharkold reality, so...
Right.
But thus far, there's only been Salvo who's ever done that, especially in this one anyway.
So I'm wondering, are there any of those motorbikes sort of clustered?
You could probably target at most 2, because while they may be clustered, they are moving around and jinking around like, well, jinking things. But yeah, you could certainly have a go at 2 of them. And you probably, at this moment in time, they're as the other vehicles are starting to move slowly around, you guys are now sort of at the back of the column, and you can see the pursuers heading up towards you. At this moment in time, they're effectively in the same region of combat, so you're not going to get any minuses for range.
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to fire my RPG.
Cool. And then you can get 3.
That's 2.
Just to let you know, the difficulties for hitting are their land vehicle skill, including the bike's maneuverability. So you're looking at an 11, 12.
Well, I got 13.
Okay, so no bonus damage unless you decide to expend.
There's no need. This one does like insane amounts.
Well, how much is insane amounts? Remind me.
What was it? Like 24 or something, I think.
Does 19 damage using the big gun.
No, that I'm using the RPG. 25. 25 AP4 heat.
heavy high explosive anti-tank is what that one is, which basically means it ignores a significant amount of I'd say so you can see them. You're timing it. You can see as they're getting closer, these groups of bikes are just zigzagging in and out and around the parked cars and the abandoned vehicles and the various detritus of the conflicts that have been going on. And you time and you time and you. There's the noise of the rocket above with and it zips out, slightly guided. So it twists and then homes in, and you just see 3 of the bikes just disappear in a fireball. Well done.
Well done.
And you can take a shock back for dealing a wound if you want, if you have any.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last bit is, can the various drivers successfully negotiate position B?
Well, I think they could have until you said that, and then it all failed.
Come on, drivetrain, you've got this. You've got the right colour dice and everything.
I told you, shush!
And oversight.
What was the target this time? Still
13s.
13.
Oversight gets a 32.
Wow. You've got a possibility, don't forget I give you.
Which is a 10. Yeah, he gets a
I
20.
can play support as
Okay,
well. if that's
21.
needed.
So the bus has progressed to being able to try C.
14.
14, just barely.
Just barely is good enough, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
have
it's
to
good enough. So
no
the
bonus to excelling. So
makeup of the things, you've now got all the other vehicles ahead of you. You guys are now at the rear guard. This one. You're within range, however, so you're now sort of like you're barking orders. Feels quite weird. You're barking orders to Oversight, who's now the lead vehicle. So you literally no, next left, no, your next left, that sort of thing. And we go on to round 3 with 2 steps left to be attempted.
give us a C. Give us a C.
What were you going to need to see?
Give us a card.
Yeah,
Yay!
an A, B, C, and D.
We're heroic. We go first and we get the attack.
The villains get a setback this time.
Yay! Guys, do you want to do your attacks first? Because you know my driving always goes last. All I get to do is drive.
How's Voss looking?
Vasily's now fine. Again, remember these aren't 10-second combat rounds, so you've spent a good 5-6 minutes patching the kid up. You think as long as it doesn't jolt him any further too much, then you'll be able to. You can play you don't get a card necessarily for driving, but you can play a card each time for doing so. In fact, no, you know what? I'm going to say it's a dramatic skill resolution. Any successful attempt at dramatic skill resolution is worth a card. Having a tuned card. That's the drivetrain. So you think is okay at the moment. Salvo, give me a find check, please.
Possibility.
Woo.
It's at least a 10.
Yeah.
That's a new card. I've never seen that card before.
Wait.
Waiting.
Yeah, 14.
Right. As you're lining up your shot for whatever you decide to do this round, you see a small building off to the left of you, quite a way back, collapses in rubble and smoke as that drives out onto the road through it.
Woo!
Woo!
However, it is festooned with skulls and chains,
Oh.
and you can see behind the big roof-mounted gun, you can see a ghoul with its metal tentacle whipping
Boo.
randomly in the wind. And
Wait a
while
minute,
it
what is-
hasn't
You mean like a
necessarily
dog sort of driving?
exactly that sort of thing, while it hasn't necessarily brought the big gun around, you can see that as it turns onto the road, the big gun begins to turn with it.
I thought it was a setback for them, not us.
Well, that's what happens this round. You don't know what the setback is.
The setback is. That
You don't
is-
know yet. It will come on their go.
Where guys, whenever it's my driving thing, I'm going to make sure I'm not on the last spot.
Okay, so you guys go first. What are you doing? You managed to get your speed back up. You're still in the rear guard position at the moment.
Well, I'll have to shoot the tank, I guess.
Do you have anything that can pierce a tank?
Well, I've got a anti-tank like rockets for my.
You do. So did
Yeah.
it.
That sounds promising.
Just to let you know, its armament, it's a main 125mm cannon with a range of 1K, 3K, 5K, and heat ammo itself.
Oh,
It is fast, despite appearances. Not as fast as you guys, so it has a difficulty, but it is not very maneuverable. But it is very large. The other disbenefit is you're currently at position C. It's currently at position A. So you are going to get a -4 to hit it. However, it is very large, so you also get a +4 to hit it. So size and distance counterbalance each other.
right. Well, I'm going to take a.
Anti-tank it. Go on, mate. Sorry. Possibility. Possibility.
Why do you
Yeah.
always say stuff, Skellen?
I was being encouraging. It was.
There's no malfunction on the RPG, is there?
I don't think so. Although it's always funny when it is. Although, like,
weapons
put it on the wrong
thing
way and just.
doesn't say anything about any of the malfunctions, so you probably have to look at a different book.
Yeah, I'm looking at it at the minute. Let's just have a look for missile weapons, firearms. It's beyond firearms because it's in the special section, I think.
Not in the player's book.
Yeah, I'm going to say it doesn't have one. I mean, a 1 is always going to be a mishap, but it doesn't have a malfunction mishap. Oh, I found it. Heavy weapons. It's the law rocket, isn't it? Yeah, it just has ammo 1, heat ammo, nothing. Just a mishap will be a mishap. There's no particular glitch on it.
Well, I'll possibility of that.
I'll be right back and get water.
That's 20. So. That's 18.
That certainly hits it. Not with any bonus dice of damage, though. Double checking that. Because it's doing that. Actually, no. 1 bonus die of damage.
Yay.
Roll again and add. So that's a 9 onto the normal damage of.
25.
That's 34.
AP4, and it's.
And let me just double check. I think it ignores 4 points of armor. Let's just double check what heat does. I did check this the other day because I thought you were getting to this point at that level, but then I completely forgot what it was. HEAT. Where you gone? High explosive anti-tank, found only in heavy weapons and was available at Tech 20 on specialized weapons. Heat rounds are designed to detonate after penetrating vehicle armor. If the target is very large or has an armor rating greater than 5, then heat ammunition ignores up to 5 points of armor. If not, the shot still counts as armor piercing and ignores up to 2 armor.
Right. But it also has armor piercing 4 though. So what is that?
Well, it means on a normal hit it will go through.
All right.
So it takes. It's a palpable hit. What was the total?
The total was
34, wasn't it?
yeah. Wait.
Yep. So you ignore that much armor, giving it a 26. 34, 26 has 8 result points. So the tank suffers a wound and 2 shock. I believe that the people in it suffer the same damage as well. So it's still coming, but there is smoke coming out of it. It's a tough tank. It has 4 wounds. So there is smoke coming out of it, especially out of the top turret. So you're not entirely sure that anyone will be able to fire the 7.62mm machine gun. But when it gets to its go, they are going to continue to try. But they have minuses now because they are wounded. What are the rest of you doing? Stitches first.
So the tank's still active?
The tank is still active. You probably have only just noticed that there is a tank out there when you looked up and saw him firing the rocket launcher again, and you like poked your head out of the top and watched it. There's a tank, and then you saw the tank disappear in a ball of flame and then emerge, singed but still moving, out of the front of the ball of flame.
I'm going to double tap the ghoul that's on the gun on it then.
Okay, cool. So you're going to be at -4 for range.
Sure, you don't want to hit the ones that are a bit closer.
Yeah, but this is fun. I'll get him, don't worry, I'll get him.
Okay.
Confidence. Oozing with confidence. Yeah, so -4 for that, then probably -4 again, is it?
No, -4 for range, because he's normal size, so you're not getting any modifiers. It's just -4 because of the distance.
Oh, okay, cool. So, check this out. There you
And
go.
again,
That was brilliant.
roll again and add. 28. That's a bonus number of 9.
My double tap gives me something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it gives you +1.
Okay.
10. Then you add your skill to it. His dodge is an 8.
It's fire combat, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 9 onto, what did I have? 10. That's 19.
Okay, that's an outstanding success. You're doing 2 bonus dice of damage. So roll 2d6 and...
Oh.
It's alright.
Oh. There's nothing
What's
to
your
do
total
with roll,
damage?
them, is there?
No, but you've still done a bit of damage, so what's the total damage? Because it's your rifle, isn't it?
Damage 14, so 17 in total.
17 away from his toughness of 11 is enough to take him out, because they've only got the 1 wound.
Yes, that's alright.
So they can't even fire the minigun. Anybody on there to fire the
And
minigun.
if you win something, you get some energy.
You get a shock back as well.
Okay.
You also both get a card, because the approved actions were attack and maneuver. So Badger, you get an action card. Skellen, you get his initiative.
I get to do what I love best. I get to roll dice and feel.
And I get put one in my hand, don't I?
You do indeed get to put one in your hand. Okay, so Oversight is also making a drive roll. Still difficulties 13s at the moment. Oversight's going to spend another possibility. This is at least a 10. Good, because it's a 15. So he manages to progress to essentially position D, but not yet completed. What did Drivetrain get? Is that a 32? Because you spent a possibility as well?
Yeah. Stop asking me questions when I'm doing numbers, because it really, really confuses me.
Oh, I'm gonna. So if I say like 6,
Shush.
2,
32.
21,
That's a
30,
10.
32.
9.
10. Don't say anything to me. I've only got one track, my dear. 10. 11. 11, 25. I got 25 total.
Okay, you are also able to bring the tiger pulling away into position D, which is very good.
No, I got 23.
This is good. So the remaining drone, which is still lagging back, obviously still trying to get some kind of feed on you, manages to move up to position B, but has absolutely no ranged weapons of any kind. So unless it can get up to you, it's doing nothing. The ghouls on motorbikes.
Where's my card?
17 gives us a bonus of 4. They are land vehicles at enough. So the ghouls on motorbikes all stay within one range category of you.
Yay.
And the tank brings its main gun to bear.
Can I play my card anytime now?
You can do, as it's attempting a multi-action. It's going to attempt to get a step on you and also fire its main gun.
Can I have another Cosm card, please?
Oh, because you're attuned, you get a new Tharkold Cosm card. Don't forget anyone that's still got their Cosm cards. I think, Skellen, you had irradiated on yours, but I think you've used it. Because you had that. Oh no, because Oversight had that, and he had that weird occult wound on his arm.
I had a cyber psychosis or something, I think.
Which you've also already played as well.
Yeah.
And you get Supremacy.
I have Supremacy. You get multiple Supremacies?
Is that already on there?
Yeah, it's my one. It's the one I
Okay.
already have.
Oh, I know why, because this wasn't set up as cards, so it doesn't know which ones have been used. Okay, you don't get Supremacy because you already got that one. You get Kneel.
It's a new one.
Plenty of time for the rest of the scene in favoured skill.
God, it's always favoured. I don't know what's good.
No, it's only favoured in comp. No, favoured is slightly different.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, favoured means you can roll the dice twice. If you get a bad roll on the first one, you can roll again in case you get a better roll on the second. Okay, so the tank's driver makes his single roll. He is wounded, so he's getting a -1 on this. It's a 12. That gives him a bonus number of 0, which gives him a bonus number of -1. So the tank doesn't catch up to you any further. So it's at A and you're at position D. It does fire its main gun. It doesn't actually, you're not sure if it would have hit you or not. Because their setback is that the shell actually impacts the an overhanging piece of masonry from like roadways that are above you, causing half the side of the buildings to collapse, taking out half of the ghouls that are close up to you. So you're now only being chased by 3 ghouls, but the tank's still there. Because as you continue to move, you can see it looking its way. It literally, at this moment, it's driving through things to try and keep up with. Because just so you know, the tank is a juggernaut, which enables it to ignore its maneuver rating while gaining a step in a chase, but it suffers a collision. It soaks the damage of the collision quite happily.
That's a cool rule, I like that. Bulldoze its way through.
Round 4.
We are now on D.
You are at step D.
Can we actually see the nuke now at this point?
In a minute you might be able to. Oh, how appropriate is that? Into the fire.
It's not appropriate. It does not have 2 Ds on it.
It doesn't have any Ds on it. Proved actions to intimidate and taunt. It's a dramatic scene, so you guys go first. Can everybody remember what surge means?
2 actions.
No, that's
No.
flurry.
Oh.
You're on the bottom row.
Do a reality check if we have anything that contradicts.
Well, everybody, basically, you quickly evaluate all the tools you've got.
I don't have to.
And make a check. It's going to be a 1 case regardless. but you determine if it's anything more than a 1K. So yes, even somebody from the native reality still makes a test on a surge.
So, which reality are we in now, though?
Well, you're still in Tharkold.
Okay.
Tharkold reality still holds sway. Unless somebody wants to do anything weird and wonderful, but not for the minute.
I don't have to. But
Oh no, you still check for a contradiction, but if you get a disconnection, you can ignore it.
No, but it's because I'm adaptable. It's no technology is beyond my ability thing.
It's still a 1 case contradiction, and this one is not necessarily technology that does this. It could be magic, spirit, social, or tech.
But you also have the one thing that makes it, if it fits with the native reality, then it doesn't.
So you don't have to re-roll if you get
wait,
a high
no,
number.
no, you get wait. It's you get it's easy for you to reconnect. I think.
Yeah. And he can ignore one disconnection in the first place.
That's not the one I was talking about. That's
you're talking about adaptable.
Yeah.
Well, what happens though if you don't have anything that contradicts and you get a 1?
Normally nothing would happen to him, but because the surge is a special case, he still could potentially disconnect on a 1. But he can then use his Realm Runner ability, which essentially says, well, you can ignore a disconnection the first time it happens in each act anyway. So it's very hard for Drivetrain to disconnect. Can Stitches please make a check for contradiction, please?
Yeah, but I mean, if you disconnect in your native reality,
you lose the ability to create contradictions. You won't be making many, but when you're disconnected, you have a looser link to reality. So remember, you can't do such things as no, 4's fine. You're not on a 4-case contradiction. You're on a 1-case. You still wouldn't be able to spend possibilities, which means you can't soak damage. So it's still dangerous. Reconnection is easier, slightly easier. But the main issue of not being able to create contradictions doesn't cause you as much grief, because you can still go, well, I can still use my RPG, I can still use my guns, I can still use my funky power arm. Okay. Just before you make your rolls, and I've got to get the right bit here. You see them first, Drivetrain, as a wing of aircraft going at supersonic speeds just zoom overhead, coming from ahead of you and going to behind you.
Yeah, it's the cavalry.
They aren't stopping.
We are so dead. We are so dead. Why did no one have the cards that made the other card stick? Why did they have that card? I bet you it was one of the other carders had it.
Wait, I've got Seize Initiative. I could.
Oh, I've got that.
But was that in your pool?
No.
It was just now, I think. Well, it was the last one I added, so.
Then, in theory, you could spend it now.
I will.
Strictly speaking, you should have spent it before we went through the rigmarole of doing Surge, so I'm going to say you can't at the minute. Because you've got to decide a little quicker. It's all right. You've got a double chance of getting a D in the last round because of those. In fact, you've got a triple chance because you've got 2 of them. As long as Stitches has it in his pool. Does Stitches have it in his pool?
Nope.
Stitches needs to put it in his pool in this combat round, and then you'll have a triple chance of getting a D.
Yeah, do some intimidating or a taunting. No, you don't have to even do that. Just put it in anyway.
But anyway, the aircraft have roared overhead, obviously heading for downtown Moscow. What are you guys doing?
Put a death charge on my radio.
Why don't I need to do something intimidating or taunting to be able to put it in my hand?
You don't. That will give you more cards. You just need to do some. You just need to take an action, have a round in order to play it into your pool.
Okay. Well, I'll shoot some of the ghoulies things that are after us.
They are. Yeah, they're only 1 range away from you. They're at C. You got D.
Right, let's do it.
So you're at a -2 because of distance.
Okay, so it's a +2.
So that counteracts it.
And
Yeah, 17 to 4 +2. Yeah.
so 10, 11.
11 versus their dodge of 8. So it's not enough to do a bonus die, but what's the base damage of your weapon?
14.
So that's some shock.
That's cool.
I'm going to use playing my supporter card to add, if that will help.
Yeah. You can give you an extra 3 results, which would be enough to give him a bonus die.
Yeah,
Because he was only
I'll do
2
that.
over. Okay, roll a bonus die.
Thank you.
Roll it again.
Die. So that's
So
another
that's
8.
a 7, because the 6 is actually a 5.
Ah,
But it's a 5 and a roll again.
okay, so it's 21.
Yep,
damage.
that's enough. You start, basically, you go out and you start firing your gun, and you hear a salvo from up there. No, the one to the right, it's closer, easier shot. And you basically, you track your gun and you take it out. You walk the fire up the bike, and you see it just puncture the front tire. The bike begins to go out of control, but before it's able to wobble so much, you basically walk up, shatter the windshield, and take the ghoul in the left temple, and then the bike swivels, twists, and collapses, skidding to a halt. Well done, Salvo. Well done, Stitches. What's Salvo doing?
I'm going to target the tank again with...
You're at a -6 now because of distance.
Oh, that's fine.
So it's an aggregate -2 because of the tank size. Good roll, though. That's when you need it. Is this RPG again, yeah?
Yeah. 23. I'm going to spend the possibility of that one.
Okay, so that's an 8 so far.
Oops,
That's wrong dice.
wrong. Yeah. Can you... No, that
No.
it's like... If I
38.
38.
It's a bonus number of 11.
Which, to my...
To be a 9 because of the range.
And dexterity is 11, so... What's my 20?
20. That is more than enough to hit it with an outstanding, because the ghoul's land vehicle skill is only a 9. So roll 2d6. Well, 2 bonus dice. Well done. That's 9.
So that puts us at 34 again. Oh, again, I don't know if we...
No, it was 31 before. 34 versus the tank. Again, it's heat ammo, so it gets rid of 5 of the armor. 24. Was it 34?
Yep.
Okay. The rocket unerringly hones in on its target. You've done 2 additional wounds to the tank. It looks, there's fire now on the top of it. The minigun is completely ripped off the top chassis. You can see that the left track is partially hanging off, but it's still moving, but it is literally on its last legs. You've done 3 wounds to it. It only has 4, and that will give it an additional -3 on anything it's doing this round. Well done.
Well, what about the people on board? I mean, shouldn't they be...
Well, the driver is defended, but anyone else that is on board isn't anymore. So you're doing good on that one.
I think I've only got 1 rocket left now.
You fired it 3 times. You had 5 shots.
Oh, I fired 3. Yeah, but I had fired it once before.
Yeah, but you don't. Okay, so you get the 1 in the barrel and then 5 reloads.
Oh yeah, right.
So it's 6 in total. You've used 3. You've got 3 left. Drivetrain and oversight. Oh, you can't attempt. Oh, okay, right. Let's double check, because while there is no D on the initiative line, you could, as with a dramatic skill resolution, you could do a last-ditch effort if you wanted to. But if you fail, you'll go back 1 or 2 steps. So it's up to you if you want to attempt that this round, or if you want to hedge your bets and hope, remembering everyone can play a new card into their pool, and hope that you can get an initiative line with a D on it next round.
Press the shiny red button.
What?
Do it. Okay,
You've got
don't
the
listen to me.
You can always attempt the last one.
No, what I mean is, if I go faster, it doesn't make any difference, does it? I mean, like, it won't be a D.
Well, no, because as I said, you can do what that's called last-ditch effort. It'll put minuses on you, but you attempt to finish all of the remaining steps this round, whether they're on the screen or not. Or you could attempt to do a stunt, or you can do a land vehicles-based maneuver to put stymies on your opponent. So you could stymie or very vulnerable the tank with some fancy driving.
Okay.
If you get an outstanding result, you could cause a collision for the target.
Don't have to make a drive roll, so I can actually do intimidate and get another card.
You could do.
Right. I will do a taunt, and taunt the driver of the tank and say, "Look at this."
Problem with that is the driver of the tank is 3 range.
Can I taunt him over the radio?
No, because he hasn't got a radio on.
Oh God. Tank drivers are useless in this game. They just don't have all the things I need.
This isn't the normal tank driver. This is an undead thrall that's driving the tank.
Should stop this vehicle. Go back and tell him, get a proper radio next time. And then, I won't. Can't actually intimidate them if I can't talk and I can't intimidate. I can't do both of them. No, there's not really.
Well, you could do the equivalent of a maneuver with a stunt with the vehicle you're driving.
Play checking with him.
What would the maneuver do?
I know
what a maneuver is, but what would a maneuver do for me?
You wouldn't get anything of any particular benefit apart from satisfaction of having made them stymied, vulnerable, very vulnerable, or you could make him crash.
Could that be considered an intimidate?
No.
Why not? Why not?
Intimidating driving. Get that all the time.
If you decide, again, it's quite a flexible combat, so you could, in theory, spin the car in a bootlegger and try and do chicken with the tank.
This is going to be a bad idea.
You're still going to be at position D at the end of it, so something else happens that you're able to take a shortcut. The road up ahead bends around, and you catch back up with people.
If everything goes wrong, everyone knows Skell's name, don't they? Yeah, okay, good.
Never listen to me.
So essentially, it's your vehicle skill against the target's defense. So it's your vehicle skill versus a 9.
Wait, what's going on?
We're playing chicken with a tank, I think.
16 plus the 1, 17.
Right, that's 2 points off of being an outstanding result.
Wait a minute, let me recalculate that because I think I made a mistake. Right, that's 8 plus 4 is 12 plus 2 is 14 plus the 1 is 15. Where am I always getting an extra 2 from? I don't know where I'm getting it from. And Maz is going crazy.
Spending a possibility on it?
I
mean, at this moment in time, you could make him very vulnerable or very stymied, but you could get, with 4 more points...
Wait a minute. 4 more points? 4?
Yeah, because you'd have to go from 15, which you're currently on, to 19 to get an outstanding, because that's 10 I've always got.
Right, okay, I'll use a possibility, because I needed 1 possibility for the last bit. Is that right?
Maybe.
That's
at least a 10.
25. That's 8 plus
which is 6 more than 15.
21. 21.
Okay, so in what can only be described as a moment of sheer combat madness, Drivetrain executes a perfect bootlegger reverse, which essentially means that he yanks on the handbrake, turns the car, and ends up facing in the opposite direction, and then immediately accelerates up to top speed.
I'll grab the dashboard.
In and out of the various motorcycles that are heading towards you, and the tank begins to grow larger and larger and larger in the view screen. You're essentially doing this as an intimidate, so you get to intimidation is approved. So you can choose one of these two.
Wait, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Because there's nothing else to do.
It's an intimidating maneuver.
Choose willpower or supporter.
I'll go for a supporter.
Okay, take that one.
So did we run out of road?
Not particularly. It's just
it's
the rule of cool. It's the rule of cool.
Rule of cool.
The tank gets larger and larger and larger, and then your idea of the chicken, the feel of the reality, the intimidation, the fear kicks in. And at that last moment, with those of you that are in the vehicle, apart from Drivetrain, looking at each other in absolute shock and amazement,
horror,
as Drivetrain doesn't flinch.
We'll flinch for him.
Neither does the tank. However, you need to remember that the makeup of the Tiger, and thankfully due to the fact that the tank's left tread is crushed slightly, the Tiger was able to mount vehicles. Yay. So at the very last second, Drivetrain doesn't flinch. He simply turns the wheel slightly. The collapsed left side of the tank acts as a ramp for the vehicle. There's no gun in your way, and you sail over the top of the tank. And those of you that are on the top, you're getting like wind in your hair yourself. You turn and see the tank seemingly desperately trying to turn itself, and it turns, skids, and sideswipes a building on the side of the road, and sort of is now up on its side after having taken an additional Drivetrain. You can roll this. 2 bonus dice damage, please, for the collision.
Yay! Nice one. That was cool.
Yay!
Well, it's still there, but it's stuck on its malfunctioning track. So the tank is now on its left side, disabled, but not entirely out of the fight. You proceed to turn down the side road that you knew was there, knowing that the road up ahead was turning, and you just burst through some crates, because there's always crates down the side roads, and find yourself back at the rear end of the convoy. Well done.
Yay.
Now we're going to get a D.
5th
You
round.
guys better play your cards. You better put your card in, Skelly.
The card that you get is they hesitate.
Yay! We want some hesitate.
However, the villains go first, the heroes go second,
Now, do you want to get
and the fatigue line, just to let you know, the fatigue line has no effect on any of your opponents because they all ignore shock, and that's all that fatigue does. It gives you 2 shock. So you can choose to draw another card if you wish.
Does he get to choose the card that's in play?
You will take the one, once you've pulled one, that's the one you're getting, but then somebody else has got the Seize Initiative card, so you could pull a third one if you wish.
We're going to win here now, okay? Or we could chance it to get a better card so they go last and not win, and then not win again. So I think we just stay with the win.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do that.
Pansies. Okay.
Pansies.
Well, do you want to pretend it happened and do it, but we still say that we picked this?
Yeah, sure. So your next card would have been Torg.
What in God's name was that do?
Gotta be good.
Possible setback. Villains go first. Heroes are confused. And a possible setback.
Oh
With a
my
possible
God.
setback, you can attempt any step with a possible setback. However, if you fail, you start back at A. And your second choice might have been, you can't stop me, which is A, B, D. Heroes are confused, which essentially means you can't play cards in that round, and villains go first.
I'm glad
So
we
They
speculated
hesitate is probably the better one for you. So the remnants, because the tank isn't chasing you anymore, and I'm going to rule, even though it's on the side, it can't bring its gun to bear. No A-team nonsense of it lining up and boom, and it moves 3 feet to the left, line up, boom, and it moves 3 feet to the left and then shoots you. So the tank's out of it. Well done. We have a remaining drone attempting to catch up with you and staying at its position because it can't. In fact, the drone can't even catch up because it needs to do a B and it can't. The ghouls, however, are on C and they can't catch up with you either because they need to be on D in order to attempt D. So some ghouls shoot at you. Oh, that's an 18. They're at a -2 for distance. That's a 5. Makes it a 3. They're Thav 9s. Salvo, does a 12 hit you? Sorry, a 14. Does a 14 hit you?
14.
Because the remaining ghouls basically train fire onto you.
Yeah, my dodge is 9.
20 toughness.
He's not. He's on top, so he's got in some cover, but not a huge amount. Your dodge is 9, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The Thav 9 is damage 14, so that's 1 bonus dice of damage, which did explode. Again.
It was so sad to meet you.
Okay, so that's a 14. Well, you needed to get wounded at some point. As the ghouls bring their relentless fire down upon you, and you take 28 result points of damage.
Yeah.
That's 12, because you've got 16 toughness, haven't you?
Yeah.
2 wounds for shock.
I'm going to possibility that.
You're going to attempt to soak it.
Yeah.
So spend the possibility and roll. That's always a good start with a 10. Not so much with a 12. So difficulty is a 10. For these always standard 10s, what's that give you as a total?
My
reality skill is your spirit plus
is,
whatever adds you've got.
Yeah, right. Spirit, that's 9.
And 12 gives you a bonus number of 0.
Yeah.
That's a 9. So you didn't soak any damage.
No.
You can spend a possibility on that roll if you want to, but it's an additional and your last possibility. I know you've only got 1 left. It's up to you.
Yeah.
You are quite close to the end. I'll let you know that.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Not at the end, but close to the end. So that goes up from a 12 to a 30. Give you a 9.
Yeah, so that...
it's not enough for an outstanding, but you only took 2 wounds and 4 shock, and that is enough to eliminate 2 wounds and all shock. So there's a brief moment where you're peppered with gunfire, then through conscious effort, it is a conscious choice to do that soaking, you sort of go, no, that's not what happened. I did this, and you duck down fully behind the gun's defensive shields. And you hear it's still intimidating. There's a blazing amount of ammunition goes straight where your head was 2 seconds ago. But you managed to you stand on like that was weird, but you came out of it unscathed. Heroes goes.
Yay! Does someone want to do some shooting, or do they want to watch me driving?
How many are left?
And do you have any supporter cards you can put in
You've
your
got
thing?
a drone quite a way away. You've got 3 remaining motorbike riding ghouls relatively close. They're 1 stage away, and the tank's now out of sight.
Right, okay. I'm gonna do a multi-targeting.
Oversight's going to spend a possibility. That's 12. That's 0. His land vehicles, he didn't make it. He stays at D. Is not fully complete.
Hopefully he hasn't got all the info.
Actually, no, that's step C, essentially. He hasn't completed step D. Unless anyone wants to spend anything to help him. Actually, has he got anything? We've not been playing his cards.
I've got... Wait, second chance, that doesn't affect anyone else, right?
They can do. What's it say on the card?
Yeah, I tried to... I couldn't find it. It wasn't added, apparently.
Was it not? Should be.
No.
Drama deck, Destiny deck, even. Yeah, second chance has loads. Immediately attempt any action. The new test takes the place of the failed one. This may be played after a mishap, negating any effects before they occur. Yeah, that's really you, but you could have, in theory, have played it onto his card.
You did say you can swap cards to other people.
Yeah, you can swap cards between your pool.
Right,
You'll
well,
give him
do
that card, and then he could have played it and give you a card. But we don't know what his cards are, so.
I do.
Right, well, I'll share it then.
Okay, so you switch out. He's going to use that second chance. You get that one, rally.
Rally.
Goes into your power focus thing.
Right, so he's now got, and the possibility would have been a 21. That's a bonus number 8, which is enough. He gets to step D.
It's about time he did something good. This is. Hope to God I don't like. If I needed that card, I'd be crying.
What are the rest of you doing?
Yeah, I was about to
Multi-target.
shoot down do multi-target on the 3 remaining ghouls with the machine gun. So 13. That's 1, 2. It's about 12.
Okay. That's an. You were doing a multi-attack.
Yeah.
Count. So, because it's a minus.
Is that multi-attack or multi-target? That's different, isn't it? They're 2 different things.
Yeah, but that's the same
Okay.
modifiers.
Yeah, but it's even out because I do a heavy burst.
Yeah. Cool. 12's enough to hit them.
Yeah. And
I know your damage. The 2 motorbikes disintegrate under a hail of munitions. There is now just 1 singular ghoul on your tail. But as you
I
are.
thought I targeted all 3.
Oh, did you do 3? Then they all disintegrate into a hail of fire.
Yeah.
However, you do see far off in the distance the jets that you saw flying over. You see them curling away. Skellen, what Stitch is doing?
Why did you get such a good roll if you have a -6 on the thing?
Are there any ghouls left?
Nope. There's a
Can
drone
I
about 500 meters away.
encourage drivetrain somehow assist him?
Yeah, why not?
Cards. Like cards.
I've only really got to use the initiative to play.
You can do an assist if you make a land vehicles check versus a 10. If you succeed, then you'll count as 1 person assisting him, which will give him a 1-point bonus.
If I haven't got the land vehicle skill,
then you could give them a 1 point penalty if you fail, but you can still make the attempt.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Difficulty's a 10 off of Dex.
All right. So add me dex. Oh,
So
no.
-1 and add your Dex.
Oh, you mean take me dex away? I think I'll spend a possibility. Eh?
I think you should.
Don't worry. I've got this. I'm going to be like leaning over, saying, "No, press that one." Being
You
really
need to say
helpful.
less aggressively. You're putting pressure on your ulnar nerve. Rotator cusp of your right shoulder's not doing very well.
What do I need?
Suddenly,
10.
a pistol shoots in the
shit.
So
room.
that's a 22. That gives you a bonus number of 8 onto your Dex.
Oh, that's much better. Yeah, I've done it easy. 22. That's going to be 29. No,
what's your
8.
Dex? 8
It's
onto
going
your
to give
Dex.
me 15.
Okay, well that's good because you count as 2 people rather than 1 for getting a good success. So you get a +2 bonus on your next drive roll.
Which is
roll.
right now.
It is indeed right now. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. And we just used the second chance card, which lets you overcome mishaps.
Oh wait, I'm going to. We can swap things between each other, can't we? So
Yeah.
I'm going. This is cunning. Master plan to get that overcoming mishaps card, and then give it to him.
I will do the mishap thingy card and re-roll again.
Does that work, John?
I have to give you a card though.
Yeah. You have to give him a card back from your pool. You have to play from pool to pool. So.
I'm the enemy of fun.
But you're
Not at all.
taking. You're
the only
gonna
thing you can do that will overcome a mishap is the chance card.
Right, Skellen, this is very important. If we're fighting a major boss soon, I'm giving you this card to play because we have no possibilities. It's called where that's the card you're getting.
Alright, okay.
Master Plan.
Does that go into my hand or into me?
Goes into your.
If it came from your pool, it goes into your pool.
Your pool.
But honestly, it won't matter because in a minute you're going into your pools.
Maelstrom, okay.
Okay, here we go. Second roll. Oh, freaking 4. Possibility means. Oh, 16, that's better than nothing. 16 is 3. And how much is he adding to me? 2?
How many what, sorry?
He's adding 2, isn't he?
Yeah, 2 for the assist.
Yeah, it says, so, wait a minute. That was 16. It was 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 10, 18. What makes me go even faster? I will throw in.
Well, you only need a 13, so 18 works.
Okay, I'm going super fast then. I want to go to the maximum speed, as you know, like.
Okay, just for a bit of fun.
Outrun a nuke.
Just give us an extra land vehicles test.
Okay.
With the same bonuses you just had. What would have been a 22, wouldn't it? So you would still have been at C because you wouldn't have progressed because you failed the roll, but you would have managed to avoid the collision that your mishap caused.
So, right, what do you mean? I have to add the 3 plus the 2 plus.
Don't worry about the roll. Don't worry about the roll. I'm just working out if you hadn't done a second chance.
Okay.
You essentially would have a collision would have occurred. You would have had a last second chance to avoid said collision, which would have been your land vehicles roll. And an outstanding success, your 22 on the land vehicles roll, would have been no effect. The driver swerves aside at the last second, but you would still have been at step C. You wouldn't have completed step D, which you will now know would have been bad, because in the moments after you pull away, getting as much space between you and the center of Moscow as possible, and about 20 seconds, Badger, has passed since you saw the planes veering off. The sun is setting, and then from behind you there is an almighty explosion. Now, as soldiers, you've probably seen big explosions before. The fireball for this is intense, and it has that classic thermonuclear effect of like the blast wave followed by the heat followed by the noise. Looking back, Badger, you see it actually impacts the Maelstrom Bridge itself, and you see the bridge shatter into billions, if not trillions, of pieces, and you see a debris cloud spreading from the bridge. You're not entirely out of the blast radius, as the heat wave and the blast finally overtakes you. Everybody takes 15 damage.
Oh.
So that's
3.
1 or 2 shock to most of you.
2 shock.
Exposed skin suffers first or second degree burns, but no significant damage is done to the structures around you. So you continue driving through this like dust cloud all around you from the blast. I'll just let you know what would have happened at the earlier steps. No steps completed, so not even completed step A. 50 plus 1 bonus die of damage. The surrounding area is completely leveled and dosed with lethal radiation. Step A, 40 plus 1 bonus die of damage. Waves of fire and pressure destroy most structures. Step B, 30 plus 1 bonus die. Shock waves damage most buildings. Thermal radiation scorches services. Step C, where you would have been had you not got rid of your mishap, 20 plus 1 bonus die of damage. So you would have each taken 25 damage, not 15, which I believe is to the realms of 10 wounds, 2 wounds and 4 shock to most of you.
We survive still. It's okay.
Burns occur even through clothing. Pressure hurls debris through the air. The storm, there wasn't an E. D, you've completed D. You're at that. You've completed that chase, that level. The storm that was raging and has been raging out in the skies throughout this time gets stronger. It intensifies. Lightning crackles through the sky above you, although it appears to have a blue and red tinge to it, not the usual white lightning that you see. And in the rays of the setting sun and the ebbing light of the explosion itself, you can see a grey cloud beginning to move. That's obviously the debris is being spread by the wind. However, you have a few minutes to recover shock. So you can all take off any shock you've got left. And as the weight of what you've just witnessed, yeah, you can recover all shock. The weight of what you've just seen sinks in. That the powers that be have just willingly unleashed a nuclear weapon on the capital of your nation. And just as the world grows quiet and still around you, there is an enraged bellow, deep and guttural, piercing the sky, and a huge figure, a full 12, 13 feet tall, lands heavily in front of the convoy. You are jerked to a halt as chains erupt from the ground all around you, and just stop the vehicles dead in their tracks. The vehicle which contains Dr. Smirnov is lent an additionally horrible sight as chains erupt from the Doctor's eye sockets and wrap themselves around the steering wheel and any other bits that allow you to move the vehicle.
Wait, who is in that vehicle with him?
I think he's in with you guys, isn't he? Actually, no, let's say he's in with Oversight.
What would the card Maelstrom do to that if it stops all that stuff?
It wouldn't stop any of that because it's
Oh.
boxed text, and it's also your bit between being out of combat and in combat. So everyone put their cards back into their hand.
Oh.
Because I need to be able to describe the figure in front of you. So it's about 13 feet tall. It is certainly not 13 feet tall of rippling muscle. While it is clearly not human, the deep red hue to its skin, the deep dark red shine to its eyes, the bat-like wings coming out of its back, and the horns. It's obviously this is what they call one of the Tharkold, one of the techno demons. But it appears to have folds of flesh more than you would expect this kind of creature to have. And as it stands there, it just simply bellows, "Worms, pathetic fleshy things. I may terminate your suffering someday, but for now, you are mine." And it's wielding, pardon me, it's got a massive technological looking mace, just punches out of its right hand, and it lowers its head and charges. Now, Maelstrom. What does Maelstrom do?
Until the end of the hero's
Teleporting.
Until the end of the hero's next turn, no one may spend possibilities or use abilities from Eternity Shards or Darkness devices, including travel via Dim Thread.
Red.
You've never encountered one of those yet.
Did he just dim Fred into us? That's what I was wondering.
No, he just landed.
Damn it. So what is a dim Fred then?
Something you don't know about. Essentially, it's a means for the bad guys to teleport people into the conflict.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't do anything.
It will prevent anybody spending possibilities until the end of your next turn.
Right, shooting quick.
We don't have any possibilities, so it's good.
I do.
Okay, so first off, we begin a new combat round. It's still a dramatic scene. And here they come.
Yay.
Right. I'm going to basically say, fine, we're going to use the Maelstrom. We're going to use the Maelstrom. So no one can spend possibilities. It's not this turn. It will be the end of your next turn. Okay? So that means you can't spend them, but neither can he.
Do they get a flurry though?
They do get a flurry.
Dramatic.
Yeah. Now, before anything else, I want everybody to make a willpower or spirit test. Because this thing is big and supernaturally scary.
You try to ambush me, because otherwise I'm hitting alertness 10. A spirit roll. Okay, it's just the basic 8, isn't it? There's nothing you can add on top of it.
Nope, but it's DC 10.
14.
Right, 14, okay. Good thing skill repeated because I started coughing, I couldn't hear.
13. Wow.
That's a bonus number of 1.
That's 9.
Then you are very stymied.
You can put that on me. I don't know what that means.
It means you're at a -4 to whatever you're to do. It fades after your first go, but you're very stymied. So, what are the heroes doing?
I'm going to shoot that thing.
You hear cries from the people behind you. Gorgobus! Gorgobus has come! So you think this might be the demon they spoke about earlier?
Yeah.
His name is probably Gorgobus.
Is he a large target?
He is a large target. You're at +2 to hit him. One thing you've got. What are you attacking him with? If you're using the vehicle mounted,
Yeah.
you go to bring it to bear,
Yeah.
and you note that a number of chains have basically locked it in place. You can still use your rocket launcher. You can still use any personal weaponry you've got, but the vehicle has essentially been immobilized.
Well, I'm going to have to use the rocket launcher then. Yeah.
That mean it's immobilized for me too?
Yep, you can't drive it. It's stuck. I mean, if you wow, good roll.
Woo.
You're pulling those rolls out when you need them.
Nice.
Just to let you know, you can hate this in a minute, but just to let you know, if you were outside the car, you would see that the chains have actually come out of the ground and gone through the tires, like through the wheel hubs. Actually, no, I'm not going to let him do that because he's not within a few meters.
He's not like Godzilla getting shot by big rocket launchers. And
No, he has the minions trait.
Oh yeah, they die instead of he getting hurt.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any lackeys within a few meters.
Oh.
He may not get any, depending on how well you do here.
We all take one of your rocket launchers off you and just keep on shooting it like that. Give me
The
another one.
problem is you've only got one launcher. You've got 3 rockets, but only one.
Well, I mean, he fires it. We take it off.
No,
we fire
no,
it again.
you can't. No, I'm not letting you do that. Good try, but no, you're not playing pass the parcel with a rocket launcher.
Right.
So you're on a 38, so it's a bonus number of 11. Plus 2
11.
because of his largeness, so it's a 13.
Right, so 13 plus. It was 11, so.
And you're going to get so much damage here. Come on, kill him in one shot, and then we don't have to fight.
Yes, I am at 24. That's has to get me. Yeah.
That's an outstanding because his dodge is 12.
Oh.
That's an extra 4.
Well, that's still 29.
29. He doesn't apply any armor because of the AP4. So that's 10. That's 2 wounds.
Woo. But he probably has 20 or something.
And 4 shock. He does seem surprised. You just literally you jump up, target, fire. The rocket hits him full in the chest. After a few seconds, once the smoke's cleared, you can see Gorgon was looking down at the rent that has been torn in his chest, a livid red wound. You can see circuitry sparking underneath it, but he's still moving and he's roaring still. But you guys have got the rest of your goes first. Skellen, what's Stitch is doing?
Well, it's going to have to be a shot at the creature's eye.
Oh, okay. So you're using your combat options to do a called shot. Now, for the eye, I'm going to say you're looking at a -6 because essentially it's the space between armor.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm going to shoot him in the eye. Can I double tap shoot him in the eye?
Of course you can.
Okay, I'll double.
It wouldn't be better to do a long burst. You get +4.
Probably, but I'll get it. Oh, you mean long burst him in the eye?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Uses more ammo.
Yeah, I'll long burst him in the eye. Why not?
Okay, so you're at a -2 overall.
Yeah, that's going to miss.
It
Oh,
does miss.
Fine.
You can't spend a possibility because Maelstrom. But that's also the reason why he's currently wounded. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be. How are they not giving him a reality skill? Okay, that's a typo. I mean, let me double check. I haven't copied it out. He's possibility rated, so he must have a reality skill.
Doesn't actually exist. He's an illusion, and we just drive away. We win.
Yeah, that's Isle, not Tharkold. He'll have one ad in reality. He's got to have at least one ad. Anyway, speaking of that, drivetrain.
I will do the thing I can do best with my -4 and shoot him with my gun. And I will do what's the best thing to get me more pluses to my roll?
You've got the same rifle Gellen's got.
Yeah, it's a long burst.
You basically go full auto. There's only one opponent, so
do a long burst. That'll cancel out the negatives because I got a -4 and I got a +4. They'll cancel out, so I'll just do the roll.
Yeah, so you're very stymied, but you're cancelling out like that. So you sort of you bring the gun up in a panic and just like hold down the trigger. That's a bonus number of 1.
Yep, and my fire combat is 10 total.
So that's an 11. You bring it down, but obviously the fear's too much. This thing is just stopping you from being able to bring your training to bear, and it's bad. You're getting feelings of shame and cowardice that you've constantly been fighting against because you're not. You're a soldier in the Russian army. You're a Spetsnaz. You're as good as the others, but your shots go wide. Other shots come in from elsewhere as it does that, and Gulgubus roaring, "Pathetic monkeys! I will flay your skins!" And he takes a couple of shots at Salvo. Specifically, he is going to he's Gorgabus.
Yeah, I know.
It does sound like Google Bus. Like that. Don't know how that would be pronounced, but I've said bus, not bus. So
yeah, I know.
He brings up this mighty mace and just brings it down in one, and then a second shot as he takes advantage of the flurry in an attempt to flatten the pathetic monkey that deemed to even stand against his might.
Why did I not get?
Demons are a bit full of themselves because you're very stymied. Okay, that's a bonus number of nothing with his melee combat. 15 hit you. It's your unarmed combat in this instance. Sorry, Badger, that's to Salvo.
Oh. Unarmed combat is 9.
Okay, so you got a 15, so that's 1 bonus die damage. As the pulverizer comes down and does 18 damage, so you've got a 16 toughness.
Yeah.
So that's 2 shock as the first blow lands. And then he winds up for a second blow. It's a bonus number of 6. That's a 21. So that's 2 bonus dice of damage. So that's 9. 14. 31. 15 result points. He brings the pulverizer down, then swings round and just blasts you full in the chest. You sort of like slow motion see your chest cavity collapsing inwards as numerous ribs, or what you think are underneath the new plating you've got, crack. And there's a brief second while your body absorbs the impact, and then it can't absorb the rest, and it just turns into kinetic energy, and you go flying backwards off of the car, landing a good 25 feet back. 3 wounds, 6 shock.
If only Skellen hadn't played that card, you could have saved yourself.
Yeah.
And he recovers a shock because he dealt a wound.
Wait, did I have the one that gives me 1 extra wound or something?
I don't think so, but you might have. It's all right. You die on the floor.
Yeah, I just need to see.
Okay, don't worry. We'll be joining you shortly.
And we see what happens next. Bear in mind that it's until the end of your go. You can't spend. So the next round is you try to outflank. He goes first. You guys are fatigued. The approved actions are maneuver and trick. You're in a Russian car, so the drive will be on the left-hand side, not the right-hand side. Okay. Where's Stitches at the moment, Skellen? Is he out of the car?
No, he probably would have been in the car shooting.
Okay, so it's a 50-50. Odds, he goes for the driver. Evens, he goes for the doctor. He went for the driver.
I've got more defense.
He doesn't look that bothered.
Right, you are stymied. You weren't very vulnerable. So he sees you as less of a threat. One of the reasons he went after Salvo is because rocket launcher, which, by the way, the rocket launcher's in the roof turret. That amount of blowback, you're going to have dropped it. And he also had obvious cyberware in the form of his subdermal plating. You don't. You are, in his eyes, primitive pav monkey scum. So in his other hand, he has a whip, which looks to be made out of darkened chrome. And you can see a number of things. There are spikes on the whip, and it is also crackling with some kind of energy. That's a -2. Does a 13 hit your unarmed defense? In fact, let's be fair. Does an 11 hit your unarmed defense? Because you're inside the car. I'm going to give you
9.
I was giving you 2 points extra, so that's why you went off of an 11. So he hits you. You take. Hang on, I need to read up on the pain whip just to make sure there's anything weird.
Pain whip. It sounds lovely.
Yeah, well, it's going to be strength +3. So you're looking at 19 -2, 17 damage. However, come on, where are you? Melee weapons. Are they going to put that one in there? No, impact hammer pain gauntlet. It just says stymies, which I'm assuming means you are stymied. Okay, so you take 17 damage. What's your toughness?
12.
So that's 5. That's 1 wound and 2 shock, which you can't soak because you can't spend possibilities. And you are stymied as well, as pain courses through. It literally lights up your nervous system.
That's the -1 or the -2?
Stymied is -2.
Do you want to stymie me for? Is it because I fire a record launcher at him? Is that way?
Okay, heroes goes. You are fatigued. Everyone take 2 shock. Actually, Salvo take 2 shock. Stitches and Drivetrain take 3 shock.
I forgot how many shock I took originally. Sorry.
You'd recovered it before the beginning of this thing.
I take 3. Did you say?
Yeah, because you're wearing armor that is fatiguing.
And I take 3 as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did I take 2 then?
Because you're not wearing armor that is fatiguing. Your armor is not fatiguing. Your armor is built in.
Oh, right. Yeah,
right.
So you get fatigued without.
Yeah.
How much shock can I take? Is it?
It's your strength. No, spirit. What am I talking about? It's your spirit.
Well, it's exceeded my spirit.
Then you're unconscious.
Great.
Let's double check you haven't got any perks. Brute, Occult Tech, and Relentless. I don't think any of those perks give you more shock.
No, I've just checked. Well, yeah.
This is a good time to also mention that during combat you can, I think you can take, it's not on the list, I don't think. There's an action you can take if you're not unconscious to attempt a recovery, which gives you, basically, I'm doing nothing, so you get some shock back. But it's only do it if you're conscious.
Well, this is my idea, Skill, right? I'm going to go first and do a trick. Then you go second and fire the rocket launcher.
I was getting heal. What's his face?
Yeah.
You'd have to get to him. I mean, you've got movement. You can get to him.
The thing is, you'd use a different skill to fire the rocket launcher, so you might not be that good.
It's heavy weapons to fire a rocket. And also, it's on the roof, so it's going to be difficult to get there. But
You keep him busy. Create a distraction, and I'll go and heal.
I'll trick him there, but I don't know how long a trick lasts. So here we go. Tricky
until the end of
time.
his next go.
Tricky time. I don't know. I can't think of an idea for a trick. I just trick him, and that's it. That's all's happening. My brain's not working.
Just wave at him and shout like over here and run around a bit.
That's good enough for a trick.
Okay, I will hold up the dead corpse of the big guy in the back and go, "Hey, you killed me! Think you've killed me? But no, it did not work."
What dead corpse?
The guy with the thing came out of his
Salvo.
Yeah, he's in oversights. That didn't kill him.
No, the other guy that died. There was a guy that was in our thing, and he was fixing him.
I saved him, didn't I?
Yeah, you did save him. You want to grab the unconscious and young.
Yeah, that's it.
Billy.
Yep. Goes, oh, hello. I may be unconscious, but I'm a wizard, and I'm really strong.
His mother is in the back as well. She will distinctly try to stop you from doing that.
Stop it using an unconscious.
It's a trick.
So will Stitches, I think. So will Stitches.
You're not using the unconscious son as a human shield. Get out there, you wussy.
You managed to do a trick that doesn't include the unconscious minor.
Okay. But Stone's always ruining my fun. 14.
The bonus number 1.
1 minus the 2, which means it's minus
Assignment, that's a
-1.
-1, yep.
So what if I do tricks? -1 is -1, which is +1. +1 is -, so that's 10. 10 total.
Okay. You are almost certain that he does not fall for whatever ploy you failed to bring about.
You know, Stitches, that would have worked if you let me do my method.
Yeah.
I really don't think it would. Okay, Stitches.
Well, I'm going to try and heal Salvo. It's my job.
Please do.
This is where you roll a 1.
Are you using any funky abilities, or
I haven't really got any funky abilities, have I?
are you sure? What are your
No, I haven't. Nothing that helps healing, I don't think.
You can't spend a possibility.
I'm good at first aid, though.
Yeah.
So let's see.
That good.
Yeah, but not that good.
What
-6.
What did you get in your roll total then? What do you have to get? What's your target? Tell us targets. More easy.
Well,
It's generally 10 if you've not got any other ones.
okay, so it's 13 minus 6 gives me a 7.
7.
Yeah, not
You know
good
what
enough.
happens? No, it is good enough. I just put my supporter card into my thing. Focus. Well, there you go. +3.
10.
Okay. However, you need to let me finish what I'm saying. It's not going to help because the difficulty number is the standard difficulty number 10 plus the patient's current wound penalties,
Very
Why
savage
asked
rules
you
about it.
couplers? I
which
pressed
means
you
it's a
couplers on the
13.
You did say generally 10 or something.
Yeah.
I'm taking that card back because
Yep, you can take the card back. I'm perfectly fine.
give me the wrong information.
Oh well.
So,
Sorry, Salvo.
Well,
fix you. Every next time.
Generally, it takes 10 minutes, but the GM may alter this as fits the particular circumstance, and that was perfect for an attempt for the particular circumstance.
I'd just love to see you pulling out your needle and thread and stitching his arms back on, his legs back on, and everything. It's like, oh no, I've got 10 minutes to do this.
It'll be fine.
Gorgobus roars in not necessarily pain, more frustration, and you turn to see because you're outside, and you can see that all of the race slaves have formed up, and they're just like unloading their automatic weaponry fire on him. But it does just seem to just literally, when it's hitting his skin, it's going ting 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 ting. You can hear there's plating underneath that hide.
If only we had a tank.
Hey, is that sniper still with us?
Deadeye is. If you want, you can
Could I have
quickly attempt to do something with her. Yeah.
Yeah, shoot the
Shoot her.
Shoot the big bad guy.
Okay, so she'll be doing that from now. We'll say she was trying to get set up, and when the vehicles ground to a halt, Deadeye was a little bit like ripped apart a little bit, but she's up and about.
I'm very confused.
Can we say that she's taking aim?
She can take aim from this round, so you can basically do Deadeye at this point. So you can now spend possibilities again, as the villains can also. They're going first. The heroes are confused, means you can't play any cards. You can play cards into your pool, but you can't actually play any cards this round. Remember, that's what confused did.
Does that mean on our go or
this combat round?
Okay.
It applies to the combat round. Approved actions, however, are attack. Roaring in pain and frustration, Gorgobus just takes 2 mighty strides towards the ranks of the dozen or so slaves, and just does a Sauron type strike down with this mace, which is literally pulverized the thing that's coming out of his right hand. So he's going to do a many on 1 against 3 of them, or 1 on many even. He is going to spend a possibility. I say that because possibly nobody who's actually here has the ability to stop him. So he spends it, gets a 20, it's a bonus number of 7. He's getting a -4, it's a 22, that's an 18. Yeah, 3 of the race soldiers go arcing backwards with 8, 12. Yeah, shattered spines. You guys goes. Yeah.
Right, can I shoot with Deadeye now?
So Deadeye can take a shot. She never spent her XP. She would have increased her fire combat probably. Okay, you're going to have 5 adds in fire combat because she would have spent her perk in getting the skill up, and the perk that lets you get a stat skill to 5. Mm-hmm. So she's got a 13 at the moment.
She's got 13.
What damage is her weapon? What? I don't see the sniper rifle on the list here. So
it should be on the Gila. The KSVK anti-material
rifle. Is that a sniper rifle? Okay.
Yeah. What else do I want? Probably. It's
bulky mean.
Bulky means it's difficult to get ready, and you can't do things quickly with it.
I'll probably get.
Don't forget you got +2 to hit him because he's large.
Yeah.
So that's your base skills going off of a 15 then.
Does that mean he gets -2 because we're small?
No.
-4 because we're minute?
No, it doesn't go the other way.
Oh, that was a 7. Looks like a 1. Spend a possibility.
Which you can do. She has 2. So that's a 23.
23.
Gives him a bonus number of 8. So that's a 23 to hit.
Yeah.
23 exceeds his dodge by 11. So that is a outstanding success.
And because I took aim, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
And I have the sniper perk. I get one additional.
You've also got the trademark weapon perk.
Yeah, that means I can re-roll if it gets a 1, is it?
I believe so. Let's just double check it. Sniper.
What's the one where you decide where he dies?
Yeah, you get an extra bonus die to the damage. So you're rolling 3 bonus die, and trademark weapon lets you re-roll once.
Yeah.
So that's 5, 10, 15. Let's see if the sniper rifle's worth the paper it's
does
printed on.
16 damage. It's got AP 4.
So that's 31 damage. AP4 means it's getting rid of his toughness. So I'm just subtracting. Right, so that would be 3 wounds, 6 shock, which he is going to soak.
Only he hadn't. If only the sniper had done it earlier.
Well, we wouldn't have been able to spend the possibility to get a good roll.
Well, okay.
Because he still doesn't have any minions standing a few meters away. I could be mean and say that she was in the bus with oversight and that the doctor just threw himself in the way of the bullet. No, I'm not going to do that. He's got a 1 add in reality. What did I just roll? Roll a 7. That gives him a -2 at the moment. So 13 minus 2 is an 11. That's a standard success. That would remove 1 wound and all shock. I want to do better than that. He's going to spend another possibility.
Spend 2?
Yeah, because he can spend 1 on the roll. So that gives him a 12. That's a 19. That's a bonus number of 6 on his reality skill. 12, 13. That's a 19. So that is 2 wounds and all shock. So there's the whole sort of like that pink sound of a silent sniper rifle impacting the cranium. It's a perfect shot, just above the left eye. You see the bullet does penetrate and it does break through whatever's underneath, and you see it lodge within the temple. Blood trickles down over the chrome left eye of the demon, and as it turns and looks towards Deadeye, he appears to still be up.
Okay, as he's distracted. As he's distracted.
Yep, well, he's essentially distracted, yeah.
While he's turning to look at Deadeye, I'm going to grab the data sticks and leg it with the information, which hopefully is going to give us nice intelligence, and I'm getting the hell out of there.
Okay.
Some doctor you are. Anyway, what I'm going to do is shoot him because I'm a good person. Wait, let's roll. 17.
Good roll. That's a bonus number of 4.
4, 5, 13. Let me just check if I got that. What is that?
I'm glad 13. This guy isn't a pushover because I gave you all 20 XP. I was worried about that. You hit with a 13?
Yeah, that's all I hit with for 13.
Okay, you do manage to tag him with a couple of rounds.
Oh, I do damage?
You do, but you're not rolling any bonus dice.
So,
coup de grace. You get a bonus dice, doesn't he?
It gives me a bonus dice. That's what I said. I get a bonus dice.
Just the one. Go for it.
5.
Nice. 5 onto the base weapon damage of
14, 19.
19 versus his toughness. He takes a shock. No, he takes 2 shock.
I forgot about that stupid +4 damage thing.
He is not going to soak that, but it is still not enough to put him down. Skellen, what's your move?
Don't know.
It should be on the defence's side. It's basically your dex.
That make any difference?
Oh, 7.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, the +4 I didn't add to the hit thing.
+2. It's only a +2. He's
Oh,
large, not very large.
No, I forgot that one as well. No, the when you're using the long burst thing, you're meant to add +4.
Roll another dice, because you'd have a +6 overall added for that one. That would have helped.
Just picture I'm doing long bursts all the time now because it's trying to kill this guy, but I just keep on forgetting.
Okay, just roll 1d6.
There you go.
That would have been enough to take him to 1 wound and 2 shock. So it's not just you stitch his left side with automatic weapon fire, and the bullets do penetrate, because I described him as having he's got a couple of rolls of fat on him as well. So there is sort of like soft noises, and there is blood oozing out. He does not look like he's enjoying himself at the moment.
May I have a card, please? I get one shot back, don't I?
You do get a shot back for that. And also, the first card should be for Deadeye. So Deadeye gets a hero card, you get a drama card.
I feel.
Right, Skellen, your movie. Okay. Just needed to know. The going gets tough.
Tough get
Right.
going.
Intimidate is an approved action. Bearing in mind, if you do that, you get to draw 2 destiny cards if you succeed and decide which one to keep. You are going first, but you have a surge. So before anything else happens, can everybody please roll me a single contradiction check? And can you do another one for your torpid form, please? Salvo, thank you. And oversight doesn't. Okay. So the surge passes. What are the heroes doing?
I'm wondering, the bonus of having taken aim. Do I have to aim again to get that bonus? Or...
Yeah, you'd have to. You have to sacrifice the action to take aim.
Right.
We start shooting first.
Well, continuing to get the hell out of there with the data sticks, because it is our primary objective.
Oh no, you're not. No. Yeah, you are. I just tried to do that. But I mean, I just thought, like, how stupid, I'd just shoot you in the leg or something to prevent you from running away. But why?
Yeah, why? The law of pain. I'm feeling a bit woozy. Must intimidate and do damage to own side in order to recover stun.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna shoot him again unless somebody wants to do something to make him.
Does any of you have cards that make me shoot better?
Action card. Well, you've got a drama card yourself.
Yeah, I can't play that until it's in my thingamajiggy.
Well, did you not put it in last round?
No, because I only picked it up and you can't put what you picked up into your new thing.
No, you can't play it when you put it into the same round.
Oh.
Anyway, it's not there yet. Come on, what are you all doing?
Well, was anyone
talking?
Trying to intimidate him or something?
I don't think anyone feels like that intimidating
Yeah,
at
that's
the moment.
probably not very effective.
Drivetrain, especially because they were afraid of him anyway. That's worn off now. Still feels a bit. Ooh.
I have no possibilities until like a couple of turns away, which I might survive until then. But
well, I'll just shoot him again. I think I'm going to aim for the head.
Okay, so that's going to be a called shot. Head will be a -4 because it's approximately. It's going to be the size of a soccer.
So he, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Never mind. I thought you used a word that should not be used. 9. That puts me at.
It's a -1.
Yeah.
-5 for the called shot.
Yeah, okay, possibility. No, wait, I'm going to use hero. Use the hero card.
That's a 23 rather than a 9, so that's an 8. -4 for the called shot, that's a 4.
So 4, and then. 13, 17.
That hits. Not enough for a bonus die damage, though.
But it still does quite a bit.
It's the base damage of the weapon, yeah, which I can't remember.
Is it, was that 16? Says,
Actually, no, you are getting his yeah, you do get a bonus die damage. Sorry, I did the math wrong off of dodge.
Oh, well, I can reroll it.
Because it's a 1.
Woo! So that is 16 is 21.
21, okay.
And then AP4.
AP4 wipes out his cybernetic plating of points of armor. So 16 versus a 21 is 5 result points, which is 1 wound and another 2 shock. And you're aiming for the head, weren't you?
Yeah.
Deadeye, true to her name, lines up her shot, breathes out on the last bit of the exhale, gently squeezes the trigger, and that almost impossible shot of aiming for the bullet hole she had previously made in the cranial plating of the demon. And the look on Gorgobus's face as the second bullet drills through the hole made by the first one, and you see the clear claret explosion out of the back of the creature's head, and it collapses.
Ura!
Booyah, or whatever the equivalent is for the Russian military.
Ura.
Just so you know, if he had survived this round, he wasn't going to let Stitches run away. He was going to attack Stitches with a conjuration effect, which he can do anything within 50 meters. And 2 rounds of Stitches running is only 42 meters. At which point, Stitches would have been enchained for 15 damage and grappled. So he would have been stuck.
Damn it.
But you were successful. If the Storm Knights defeat the demon or escape his wrath, there are no further threats from Moscow.
Yay.
Now you must make the fateful decision of whether to report back to base with your finding or take your chances in the strange new world created by the fallout from the destroyed Maelstrom. Any surviving members of the race wish to strike out on their own after helping. They do encourage you to join. So you just decide at this moment in time, are you going to make for the rally point as per your orders, or
Shoot Salvo in the head. Thinking.
Or are you going
Salvo.
to...
Stitches.
I want to follow my orders and take the intel back, but it's up to everyone what they want to do.
Our vehicle's broken, isn't it?
Yes, so you're on foot.
We could steal one, couldn't we?
Okay. You are able to get back. Are you all returning to the rally point?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay.
what our plan is. But, we lose anyone?
Congratulated for your success and hailed as heroes of the Russian Federation. We will cut forward a few weeks later, after Volkov, the wolf, reaches a détente with the invading techno-demons. And in some official records somewhere, according to some official records, while no bodies are found, each of you is recorded as being lost in combat some weeks later. Now, what would you do? This is what would these characters do if they discovered that the bridge was destroyed? Within a week, a new bridge takes its place. However, the creature that comes down this bridge enters into a dialogue with Volkov the Wolf, the president of Russia, because apparently, due to some of whatever their weird rules are, because he effectively killed one of the demon lords, the top-ranking generals of the demon army, he has gained that rank. And the Russian government is now working with the Tharkoldiu. So on an individual character-to-character basis, which of you would stick around? Which of you would find that one step too far and leave?
Wait a minute, I thought Deadeye did the killing.
Yeah, but that's not how it works because hierarchies are stupid.
No, not this demon. Forget this guy. This guy is pond scum as far as the other demons are concerned.
Oh.
Gulgabus is low ranking, pushed to the front by his superiors. You are talking, you find out this. The hierarchy works, it goes up in ranks, and each demon lord commands the ones below it until there's one guy at the top, Cranod, and there are 7 beneath Cranod. Turns out one of them was crossing the bridge when the nuke went off. Volkov gets the credit for that and is essentially given that position.
Well, I'm a defender of the Russian people to the end.
This doesn't
staying
make
with Volkov's side.
Stripesy is trying to work us out in his head. He's going, our president is invading our country, but he actually runs the country. That doesn't make sense.
No, he is, well, you could say he is siding with invaders. Just to give Stitches some food for thought, yes, he defends the Russian people. However, he also ordered a nuclear strike on the Russian capital, which was not entirely evacuated.
Yeah, I was kind of in favour of that though, because it was a defensive measure. Scorched earth, good at it, us Russians.
The one thing that how that has backfired is the bridge that was destroyed is replaced. And have we got the map in the images? I can't remember if I've still got the map in the images or not.
But the only real difference is that now the Russian Prime Minister or President or whatever it is
I'm just saying, as
is
Russians,
in charge of a bunch of demons.
We not just normally follow Putin anyway. Sorry, this new guy.
Well, it's up to you. It's your choice. Hang on, I'm trying to find the. Where's the map gone?
I kind of like the image of Mecha Putin,
which is essentially what it's going to turn into. Right, that's the one I want. Come on, World Map Kickstarter only. Right, that's day 1. Where's the day 91 then? Oh, it's page 2. That's why. Oh, stupid thing's gone out of memory on page 2. I desperately want to show you this image. Hang on. Because what essentially happens, the fallout from the destroyed bridge is taken by the various air currents, and it essentially irradiates a huge swathe north of Moscow. But when I say irradiate, it doesn't necessarily bring dangerous radiation with it, and certainly in some places it is. But it essentially brings the Tharkoldiu reality with it. So it creates an area what they're now calling the blasted lands.
Yeah, so it all backfired.
It did indeed. I can't find the right bloody map. Hang on, I'll do it as a link. So if
Does this new president, does he congratulate us on our job well done?
Well, we're supposedly dead, so
No, I was just thinking, because if we kill him, then we automatically become the new overlord. That's the way it's just been told to us.
Well, that was out of character.
Okay. Drat! I just picture myself as overlord.
Right, hang on.
Drive train. I don't know what I'm talking about now.
That's the day 90 Google map.
You follow overlord.
Because essentially, day 90 is when the campaign proper kick off.
Where is Russia? That thing, it doesn't look too bad. It's just like two small triangles.
Well, you've got the 9 triangles to its south. But yes, the blobby region that's essentially all the way up to northern Finland and around, that's the blasted lands. So that's the extent of the fallout of the destruction of the Maelstrom Bridge.
That's a pretty big area.
It is indeed. It may have been smaller.
There was nothing much up there anyway, was there?
I'm sure there was. Well, in that case, the official epilogue doesn't actually take place, which is until one day a United Nations VTOL aircraft lands. A strange American steps out looking for those strong enough to fight the invaders. A fight without quarter or compromise. A fight to the bitter end. Interested in some payback, comrades? He growls in Russian, because you meet Quinn Sebastian at the end of each of these. But well done, you killed the bad guy, and you were true to your orders. The reason I have to ask these things is I'm putting through the feedback on Infiniverse for each of the day 1 scenarios. So, for example, we've done the Living Land survey, where you feedback which Storm Knights were chosen, which Ords survived with the group, so which of the ordinary people survived with the group until the end. Did you explore Ukan? Did the Thunderlord, the guy with all the oozes, did he survive? Did you help the refugees from the hospital escape the city? How many times was the glory card played? 3. You got a big one on that one. Isle was similar. You've just got which Storm Knights were chosen. Did the dragon survive? No. What happened with Torg, the dwarf? Well, you did. Torg was rescued. Nuren was rescued, but Torg joined the party. Was Amelia rescued? Did Rakaya, the named bad guy, survive? Did Annette and Tenok, that was the sorcerer at the end, did he survive? And how many times was Glory played? And they're going to put all these together and essentially collate all of the results to guide the ongoing campaign. So, Tharkold. Which Storm Knights were chosen? That would be Oversight, Stitches, Salvo, Prowler, and Drivetrain. Poor Deadeye wasn't chosen. You all transformed and transcended. You did protect what they call the VDNKH, which is the abbreviation of the memorial place. So just to confirm, you now have the choice for each character. You get to choose if they returned to base or went rogue and met Quinn Sebastian. Now, at the moment, the way I'm hearing it, you all returned to base?
yeah.
I think it's a very Russian thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if there was a Russian in the group, they'd probably completely disagree with that. What happened to the people you met? Vasily, this is rescued, left behind, or dead? So Vasily was rescued, yeah?
I guess so.
Olga Vasily's mum, also rescued.
Well, she wouldn't let me play with her child, and I'm very upset about that.
Gennady was rescued as well. Zoya was, and Kyodai, that's the only one, that's the race soldier. She was rescued as well. What happened to Dr. Smirnov's data? Was it kept by the group, returned as ordered, or never recovered?
Returned as ordered.
And how many times was Glory played? 0 times, 1 times,
1.
2 or more times?
1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
1, 1, 1. And we submit.
You all get a medal. Don't get all.
Now, I cannot help but think how much more difficult that would be if I hadn't taken the decision to give you all 20 XP to represent the fact that you're all special forces.
You know how difficult it would have been if the other two players were here?
If they were here, it would have been a little easier. But,
Oh, no, I mean, because of the more people given choices, it'll be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And there's also the fact that for most of the Mook style minions, it's X per player or 1 per 2 players and stuff like that. So you would have had more. Good work on the tank, though.
Thanks,
That
it was
my
driving
skill
beast.
It's
well,
got like
you let us do that
toughness
maneuver.
31.
God. Well, I've noticed is Badger's got very, very good dice rolls compared to the rest of us.
You did pull out, and there were like 3 separate occasions where, yep, I need to do this, and it was like 20, 20, 20. So well done.
Very good stuff. Well,
okay. Well, we have a change of gear next week. You're back to being bog standard normies, but watch Indiana Jones, watch The Mummy,
watch them at Christmas.
Absorb as much pulp era 1930s junk as you can, and that will set you up.
It's quality.
For that will set you up for the Nile Empire.
Awesome. All right, cool.
I think Skellen will be perfect as a Nile Empire person.
I'll put the choices up